Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Flank. I'm joined by the world champion himself, Sam LaRue, aka Octane. We got Christopher Duarte, aka Parasite. We got Ben Janessine, the executive producer, of course. We got the one and only the Slayer, aka Aches, Patrick Price. And we got a special guest in the building that's going to be joining us early on in the show, Drazah, the new member of Atlanta FaZe. Zach, let's start off with you, bro. How you doing, brother? How's it feel, man?
I'm feeling great, man. I mean, I got the team that I wanted, and I'm ready to play already, but we got a little bit of time to wait.
Yeah, how long has it been now? I feel like you've been kind of locked in. We were at the warehouse together, what, like a week ago when we were filming the announcement, or a week or two ago? It's been locked in for a few weeks now.
Yeah, we've been locked in for quite a bit, so I think probably a week and a half, 2 weeks, something like that.
Yeah. But, bro, we're super excited to all have you on board. We've been talking about you in the office. Obviously, we think you're a really good player. There's a few questions that are coming in. But first and foremost, before we get into it, Ben, Sam, Chris, and Pat, how you guys all doing, man? You guys doing good?
I'm fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Can you mute yourself in the ninja, Sam, real quick?
Sure.
Okay, Sam, you're still learning.
Well, all good.
I am muted.
I don't know why I'm hearing double of your audio, but anyway.
You're probably still in Discord with him?
Probably still in Discord with him.
Oh,
It's an L producer, L Discord out of
Okay.
me.
Oh, bullshit. You actually are L.
No way.
But anyway, the lens aside, I had a good day, Tom. Obviously, I smoked you in FIFA earlier today.
What the fuck?
Nah, hey, he played me to one and done. Wouldn't play me anymore. First game on, he's been playing for months. He wouldn't let me warm up. Slake, you believe that?
Yeah,
That's typical.
I just pressed him for the 5. And then I went out and had a nice
Pressed
dinner
me
with
for the 5.
nice dinner with some friends, and then
That's nice.
came over here as it was absolutely pouring outside because of classic Ohio weather. So I'm here. I'm with the squad, excited, doing our episode of The Flank.
You see Stephen Curry hit the hole-in-one? Shit was crazy, bro.
Bro,
That was
you see
actually
that
wild.
he was playing with Marty Fish, and Marty Fish got heckled. I don't know if you saw the situation, but like they were teeing off on 18, like Marty Fish was leading, and some guy like made noises in Marty Fish's like backswing, and he like absolutely hooked one, and it ended up like costing him, and he lost. So, like some heckle guy who had money on Steph Curry is like basically tossed the tournament.
Steph Curry's hand-eye coordination has to be studied in a lab. No bullshit.
Nah,
Yeah,
that guy's
he's-
actually different. That guy's
he's
different
actually-
for sure.
It's
Chris,
up there with mine.
You think so, Slay?
Yeah.
I don't know, Sam, you agree with that or no? You think Stephen Curry's hand-eye coordination is like the Slay's? And you're muted, Sam. You're muted, Sam.
I'm tweaking
was
everywhere.
agreeing.
I'm
He was
tweaking
agreeing. No
everywhere.
worries,
Ben's got me,
Sam.
no, Ben has me in hell right now, bro. I don't want
Man,
to.
are you
Regain,
fucking
regain.
kidding me?
No, Sam needs to fucking regain, bro.
Yeah. Yeah,
Watch that
Sam.
tone, Ben.
This
It's too early in the
yo,
show for
So
that.
Slay said that he's got the same hand-eye
I
coordination
know. I
as
heard
Steph
him.
Curry.
I was laughing.
No,
You couldn't hear me.
no. I didn't say I have the same. I said Steph's is up there with mine. I'm still
okay.
a league above him.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you hit a
Alright.
hole in one, Pat?
Brag. Okay.
Yeah, what? Ben was so terrified to go to putt-putt against me because he knew what I was about.
Oh, I'm terrified to go to putt-putt against you. Yeah, okay.
He's only good on his little, like, 6-foot
Yeah.
non-regulation
Well,
butter.
That is true. Ben does get nervous on the flank putts. He's
Yeah.
probably trembling looking
Yeah, I
across
agree.
to
Ben's
you.
terrible at golf. Let's get into it. Let's get back to the special guest. Zach, talk to me, man. What happened with your LA Thieves team? I mean, what was it like? I feel like you were with those guys
Yeah,
for a
Zach,
while,
what
man.
happened?
You know, I feel like you were with those guys for a while, so it must have been hard to leave those guys, you know, because you've been there for a minute now. But kind of explain to us what happened in the LA Thieves camp.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing with basically the same LT boys for basically 4 years. Like, even when I was on OGLA, I was like, Cap wasn't a coach at the time, but Cap was on the team, went to the bench, and I was playing with Ken. So I've been playing with Ken for borderline 4 years. So I've been playing with him my fucking whole career. Obviously, this year we got a second Major 2. We won Major 4, last at champs. That's it. But I just feel like I just feel like our map pool wasn't as good this year, especially in Hardpoint. I feel like our S&D got a lot better towards the end of the year. Our control, I think, was still pretty good. I feel like we were pretty good at control. I just think our Hardpoint map pool just wasn't good enough, where I feel like we just needed to get like one more good map, because Mercado was like our best map, and any like top team never just didn't play us on it, and I feel like they left us into kind of bad vetoes. I think we had a chance to win all the maps still, but I just don't think we were like super favored like we were on Mercado, and I think that we kind of got outplayed in vetoes really this year.
Yeah, no, it was obviously you guys had a good time together, man. I feel like you guys had a really successful team. And obviously Sam is retired now. Did you know Sam was retiring? Sam, did they know or no?
I don't know. Zach, did you know?
No, I mean,
Okay. You didn't know, Tom.
I didn't know until after obviously champs, but yeah, that was a tough one because I kind of knew. Like once he was gone, like it was gonna start like hitting the fan.
It's a domino effect. He was
He's the one going to hell, not me. Like,
is that true?
You can say it, bro. I was the glue. You could say it.
No
he was the glue,
way,
bro. Like, he was just
bro.
soaking my time. He was soaking my time, and I was just chilling. Like I don't know.
That's actually fucking crazy, Sam.
glue.
But no, I was pretty surprised to be honest. And after that, I kind of knew. Obviously, after the top 8 finish, you know, the year wasn't what we wanted, and to end at top 8 is obviously what none of us want. So I figured that there was gonna be some moving pieces this year.
Yeah, and then obviously now you're teaming with Simp, Celium, and Abizi. You know, what's it like? How do you feel going into the next year? How do you feel with some of the guys, man? How you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I think I won Roster Mania for sure. I'm very excited to play with the people I'm playing with, and I think that we have a really good chance to win next year. And I'm just like this long ass off season, and I'm just like ready to play. Like, I prefer like a month and a half, 2 month off season. It's like 5 months.
I know the off season is way too long, bro. It is insane. But we are gonna run some tournaments. I'm having troubles with the throwback because Activision they're giving me some trouble for some reason with these throwback
let's throw it back to MW2, bro. That's what everyone
A real
wants.
quick question about that.
Like which MW2? Which one?
2023, bro.
Oh Jesus Christ! Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, Activision will let you host it, but they won't fund it, right? If like
Yeah,
it's a different game.
So at first they gave me you know a budget to run tournaments. I was under the under the impression that was with throwback tournaments. I thought I could do throwback tournaments, but they want to keep it strictly MW2 or literally just MW2, like the current one. There's other ways around it, where we might be able to do throwbacks, but it's a little bit more complicated. You know, I could throw up my own money and then other people can throw up money, or we could do like a pot where I put in some money and then the players all put in like $50, $100 or something. And there's a big pot at the end, you know, and then winner takes the whole pot. So there's different things that we could do. We just have to try and work around the guidelines and work around the rules. So we'll figure that out. The goal is to obviously run as many throwback tournaments as possible. I've been talking to Davis a little bit, Hitch. And I know he's running the Black Ops 2 one, which I hope goes smooth. These old school games, man, they're a little sketchy. I'm not gonna lie. We've been on a couple of them, and you just gotta be careful on those, man. Like sometimes the servers are a little messed up, and there's a lot of sketchy people on there. But yeah, definitely gonna run some tournaments. But Zach, I got some spicy questions for you.
Let me hear it.
So obviously, people thought we weren't gonna ask these questions, but we gotta ask these questions because everybody wants to know.
Hard hitting questions.
Yeah,
on
we
here.
have to. We have to. One of them is how did Drazah settle beef with the FaZe guys, if there was any at all? That's the first question coming on Reddit. It's the top comment. So I'll let you take that one.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, most of my beef with them was in game, and in game means nothing to me. Like, I'm very much competitor, and you know, I'm talking shit. Whether if I'm not on your team, I'm talking shit to you. That's kind of how it works. It helps me get in the mode to like, you know, be ready to play. And I think I play better when I have like some beef with someone, because it just makes me want to win over just the tournament or over the money. It wants me to actually beat them. So I think it helps me, but we had a talk obviously when I joined FaZe, and it was nice and easy, nothing bad about it, and like it was just easy, just like that. I didn't have beef with them, and it was just that easy.
They have beef with you?
No, no.
I mean, they wanted him, so
I think
At the
end of the day, we're all trying to win, and I think we all believe that each other is the best chance to win, and we just squashed it nice and easy, and I feel like it was super easy.
Did it come up in any of the like conversations when you were chatting with the squad about potentially teaming, or was it more just like sort of implied, do you think?
We talked about it a little bit, but I don't think that there was like nothing bad about it. I feel like we both talked real quick, and it was as easy as that. I feel like we both really want to win, and I think that this is our best chance.
I think.
Oh, go ahead, Chris. Yep.
I was gonna say, I think at the end of the day, so the gaming community and even just the esports scene in general has this very like skewed perception of like beef. I think most of the time, a lot of that stuff is just, it's not that deep. Like maybe it might seem that way when people get heated and stuff like that on like social media and stuff like that, but it rarely ever gets deeper than that. And
competition brings the worst out of people.
Exactly.
I feel like.
Yeah.
You know, especially like your enemies, like competition, like especially two teams that really want to win. It's gonna bring the worst out of people, and you know how it is, bro. Eventually, if you,
100%.
We've seen your tweets from back in the day, Tom.
what's that supposed to mean, Ben?
We've seen your tweets from like 2015.
Nah, if there was flies on the wall in some of the scrim rooms, bro, holy shit.
Yeah, I mean that's just. It's Call of Duty at the end of the day, man. It could get pretty toxic over here. But, I mean, at the end of the day, Zach, you guys are on the same team now. It's just like, whatever. You guys are professionals. You get it together. Boom. How you doing?
The end goal, nothing else matters besides winning. And I feel like I said, we both wanted to play with each other. We both were, didn't really have problems with each other. And we were down to play. And I think that's all we needed.
Yep. And then there was also another question that came in. It says, also, what made Drazah leave LA Thieves and choose FaZe over every other team? I'm sure there's been rumors about you going to Optic and other stuff. What was it about FaZe that kind of drew you to him? I mean, that's a top comment, but I'll let you answer it.
Yeah, obviously, I had the Optic offer, and I did think about it, but once FaZe because they hit me up a few days later, once FaZe hit me up, it kind of was a no-brainer. They consistently get top 3 at every single event. That's their worst placing, and to be that consistent, it just is a no-brainer for me. I think that the Optic, we had very high potential if I were to play for Optic, but I think that there's a potential that we weren't as consistent.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just a no-brainer to go with a team that places top 3 at every single event. And obviously, I think that I'm better than both their old fours. So I think that I'll be able to show up and show up on Sunday and bring championships.
I like
That's
that.
just it. And Drazah thinks he's better than Slasher and Arcides. You heard it here first.
Wait, Zach, your tweet was crazy, bro.
You like that?
Wait, what did he tweet?
You like that?
He tweeted Thanos fucking getting snapped.
No.
What the hell?
I looked at that. Oh yeah, I did see
Had
that.
to be done.
Nah, that's an unreal tweet.
When
That's
you
it, but
when you
though.
got hit up by both FaZe and Optic, was it the players that hit you up? Was it some from the coaching staff? If you want to kind of peel back the curtain a little, because people are always curious about how these changes go down.
Yeah, I was talking to both players. Obviously Crowder hit me up after the players hit me up, and I was talking to the players on Optic, and I had that offer at first, and then a few days later I ended up getting the FaZe offer.
This isn't really a question. This is more so just something that maybe you could speak on. There was somebody, I think it was Zinni, posted a video saying you always take the Optic offer or something like that. See, I know you do content. I know you stream a lot.
Yep.
And I know, but me knowing you a lot more personally, I knew that you would choose FaZe. Just because I know how important it is for you to be the best, leave a legacy, and obviously. Optic, great team, lots of good pieces, but FaZe is kind of proven to be the best team in the league overall for the majority of the CDL.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on that whole opinion and that perspective that people are like, oh, you always take the offer, blah blah, if you want to build something past just winning championships? What are your thoughts on that whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's for me, it was never about obviously Optic brings I could stream and make a lot more money on Optic. I can do way more content and have a bigger fan base. But at the end of the day, if I end my COD career and let's say my content wise doesn't work, I can live with that. But going for more so content, trying to get best of both worlds, and possibly not getting as much as I could have out of championships/rings, I just don't think it's worth the risk. And right now, my main goal is to win, and I think that FaZe was the best team to win at the moment. And I think that it was just an easy choice for me, and I'm just trying to win.
Personally, I think you can do both. I mean, even look at look at Abizi and Cell this offseason. They've been streaming a lot. They've been doing a lot of content. A lot of people love watching them.
Right? In the off season, it's pretty easy.
Yeah. But I know Zach's definitely going to put in some of those hours during the season too. He's just a grinder like that.
And all that, yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, I think you can do both. I think you made a good decision. Obviously.
That's what I'm saying. I stream 8s after scrimming every single day, basically, and I'm gonna get love and after my stream and whatnot. Obviously, I think Optic would bring more love, but at the same time, I'm going for teams right now, and I think that we had insane potential on the Optic team, but the consistency I don't think was as good as FaZe's, and I think that my potential with FaZe is a little bit higher than Optic's as well. So I just think both. There's just no reason for me to take the Optic offer in my mind right now, and they could be an insane team, and that they could be an insane team next year, and prove me wrong. But I just think that for me, my best option was to go play with FaZe, and I think that I can win more championships.
Just to expand that a little bit more, because I want to go back to the Thieves thing for a second. Like, I know you run that organization for a while. You started out with OGLA. Obviously, you continued on with LA Thieves. You guys won a chip. After the season, was there any consideration on staying on Thieves, or once Sam kind of said his piece about him moving on, like that not part of the calculus?
Yeah.
Good, man.
Obviously, I heard about like some possible cutting as well, and money-wise for LA Thieves. So I kind of knew that the LA Thieves was kind of out of the question. So I was just testing my options and seeing where I can go.
But if money wasn't an issue, was there a possibility you probably would have stayed at Thieves, just considering like you would have been there for a while?
Hell no. I can answer that for you, Dross.
Yeah. I don't think I'm staying on the team, to be honest. Not with the FaZe offer. I think the FaZe offer was just too good to pass up.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Slay.
no.
Slay, you got any questions for Zach?
Yo, Pat is Zach's English translator, bro.
I mean, I guess my question would be, I kind of just want you to come out and say it. Like, you joined FaZe because they're a better team, and every single one of their players are better than every single one of Optic's players. That's why I just want us to be real and have an honest dialogue about it.
Listen, all I'm gonna say is I think that FaZe next year will be the better team, especially with me on it, and that's why I picked them.
Nice. Good answer. You know?
I cannot believe it.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy, Sam. That's crazy.
Pat was hoping to get you with that guy. We on the last
Oh, for sure.
Pat telegraphed us. He was going to ask this question. I got a couple more. These were from Reddit. I want to also name the people that gave these questions as well.
Okay.
So first one was from the Max Milestone. What would be a successful season for you and FaZe going into next year? Is it like championship or bust? Is that basically it?
100%. I think obviously winning no championships is not in the question. I think if we don't win at least one event and win champs, I think it's a bust.
Okay, straight to the point. Another one from Aqua PSN Xbox. Was it a long? Yeah, interesting username on there. Really covering all the bases on the console side. Was it a long decision-making process, or did you take the FaZe offer quickly?
I would say it was pretty quick, but I also got hit up later, so it was kind of weird for a little bit of like if they wanted me or not. But I was pretty down to play with FaZe.
Wait, Pat, you know what he's saying, right? He was like, "Yeah, I'll join Optic," and then he got the FaZe offer. It was just like, "Wait a minute."
Alley-oop that shit. Oh wait, never mind. Allegedly, hypothetically.
Allegedly.
Need Pat's thoughts on that comment.
Well, I'm actually curious, and obviously there's not specific numbers, but when it comes to money, was money a factor? Like, if you take away the team, right? We know FaZe is a better team. Take that away. Was the Optic offer better than the FaZe offer? Worse? The same?
It was better, but not by
they're desperate. They're desperate.
Not an insane amount.
Wait,
Nah,
And it wouldn't have mattered what the number was.
Pat got 6 alarms in the morning to wake up to hit on Optic, bro.
Really? Right?
Hold on, let him finish. Let him finish. This is good. This is good.
It wouldn't matter what money they would have offered because I am joining the team that I want to win with, and that's all it is.
All right, there you go.
There you go, Slay. Any other
That was a
questions?
good one.
Any other questions,
I
Slay?
got one more question. This one was from Honestly Boxy on
Go ahead,
Reddit.
Ben.
As a general curiosity, where do you see yourself in 10 years? Like when you're done competing, are you want to be a coach? Do you want to be a content creator? Do you want to move into like what Pat's doing in more of a studio role? Like what is your sort of long-term view on the scene and where you're at?
I'm a multi, Ben.
Definitely not a coach. I don't want to be a coach. I think that I'm just too competitive to be a coach. I think if I'm gonna after my career, I think I might try to be a content creator, and if not, then I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do.
Pat's got your job at X Defiant.
Yeah. Well, listen, Zach, I don't want to keep you too long, but I really do appreciate you coming on and answering some questions. I know a lot of people were asking some pretty tough ones, so I appreciate you a lot for coming on.
Wait, I have one more.
Oh, shit.
Let
Here
me
we
hear
go.
it.
Go ahead, Slay.
What are the odds that you win the first series against Optic next year?
100%.
0. Am I right, Greenwall?
Look at Sam, bro. Look at this fucking Sam, dude. No way. But nah,
I appreciate you guys having me on.
yeah, thank you so much, Zach. I appreciate it. Wait,
Yeah.
Zach, did you see me unbox the knife in CSGO? Did you see that
I
shit
did,
or not?
but it was only 500. Like we can't even try for that.
Nah, it was 1,000. It was 1,000,
Oh, it was
bro.
1,000?
And
Okay.
I took out I spent like 400. So I mean,
Okay,
so,
that's
you know
a
what I mean?
W.
It's a
That's a
W.
W.
It's a
That's a
W.
W.
You know
That's
what I
still
mean?
profit.
Tom? Did you already sell it?
No, I didn't sell it. I'm gonna hold on to it because in 10 years that's just gonna be 100 grand, bro.
Yep.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean?
100.
Man, I'm shooting for the stars, Pat.
Oh, okay.
You
Hey,
know,
what knife did you get? You got a bayonet. You got a bayonet, right?
I got a bayonet. Shit, something like that. Like a
Yeah, Doppler.
show.
Yeah, the
You don't even know
Doppler.
for
That's what it
sure.
was. The
Okay.
Doppler. Yep, the Doppler. I couldn't remember what it was called. Start with a D. But yo, Zach, you're the fucking man. I appreciate it. Oh
I
wait,
appreciate it, bro.
Zach, what'd you think of the
Yeah.
warehouse?
Yeah, I was actually, bro. I didn't even know there was a warehouse in LA.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that, and it's huge too. So that was dope as fuck. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I know. When
It
you
was-
walked in, you were like, I didn't
it's
even know
super
y'all
nice.
had this shit.
Do you ride like the go karts and shit like around?
Nah, we were there for business.
Yeah,
But are you
come on,
staying-
man.
I'm just wrong.
Are you staying in LA or are you moving to Atlanta?
I'm gonna move to Atlanta probably in a few months.
Yeah, they got good internet down there, bro.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're going. Yeah, we gonna be good online. That's all I'm gonna
Go to
say.
Atlanta.
Oh, shit.
Go to Atlanta. Man. But yeah, Zach, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for hopping on, and I'll be
Of course.
seeing you around, bro. I'll be seeing you.
I appreciate it. Have a great rest of your stream.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
Later,
Later,
Zach.
brother.
Goodbye,
Peace,
former
peace,
hard carry.
peace.
User
All
disconnected.
right.
Give us some good,
Channel.
give us some good quotes. Zach tells it how it is, bro. He's not really gonna.
I
Spend,
love that about him. He just
He was
says it
pretty
how it is.
pretty straight up, which is what we want from a guest. So let's get some W's in the chat for Zach. Are we gonna do Kason now? Do you want to do Kason later?
Nah,
What do you wanna do?
Kason's bullshitting. He said he'll be on in like an hour.
What
I don't know.
the
I
fuck?
told him it was gonna be at 6.
An hour?
Oh,
Yeah, it's just that if we're not here in an hour, then we're talking it. Yeah, but we'll see how it goes. But
sounds like a shock. So we just move on with the rest
yeah,
of the agenda. I guess.
shout out to Drazah though. Huge shout out to Drazah for coming on. And there is something really cool going on with Kason. He's definitely involving himself a little bit more with Atlanta FaZe. You guys saw him in the announcement video. If you haven't seen the announcement video, I'm sure Atlanta FaZe uploaded it, and Val's will upload it as well. But
Gersh's directorial debut, apparently.
yeah, I thought it was a funny video. So shout out to Gersh for making a video. FaZe Clan, Atlanta FaZe, all those guys, man, they did a great job. But I want to talk about some other things. We're gonna do a team builder today, so we're gonna go through the teams, and we're just gonna kind of take the players and build teams accordingly, and see what we can come up with, and kind of see what happens. But there's a few other things on the list. One of them being Microsoft. But I think we should talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Ben, you could probably do a way better job explaining this than me. But kind of what's going on with Microsoft, and where do you see the future of esports Call of Duty going, and probably Call of Duty as a whole?
So, as some of y'all may know, Microsoft and Activision are currently in the process of merging. They did have a deadline of earlier this week, and they have extended it. There's two kind of remaining hurdles. One is a regulatory issue in the United Kingdom, aka England, aka whatever. They're apparently going to solve that soon. It seems like the UK regulator is doing a process, and on the American side, the FTC is in like settlement talks with both companies. So it sounds like sooner rather than later this summer, they're going to solve it and they're going to merge. And I think for esports on the Activision Microsoft side, it's interesting. Some of y'all probably saw the article that came out the middle of this week. I think it was yesterday about Overwatch League. There were significant layoffs on the Activision Blizzard esports team. And it seems like Overwatch is in this situation at the end of the season. The owners will be given a choice based on, I guess, their charter being updated earlier this season, where they can take $6 million and get the fuck out. And
I think they all do.
I think they will probably all take the money. So Overwatch League as a whole is probably done. And the CDL, I'm very curious to see what happens. But, knowing sort of the history of things, I wouldn't be surprised if like ESL or whatever Adam Apicella does next, like they're going to end up running either some version of the CDL or the CWL comes back. So I don't think much major in the short-term changes for Call of Duty esports. We might transition away from franchising to more of what we had prior to when the old MLG team was running things.
I thought there was an interesting post, or I forgot, I don't know if it was a post. I remember somebody brought it up. I was looking at social media, where like with Microsoft coming in and Activision, obviously, being bought out by them, and Microsoft already does their stuff with Halo. What if like they start like laying off essentially the crew that handle the CWL? There's already a chance that we stray away from franchising in the future, and we kind of go back to that like old style, like Microsoft runs their esports events with Halo and Call of Duty now, because they have two FPS esports titles together, and they throw like these bigger events, kind of like how the old Call of Duty events or the old MLG events used to go. That could also be a possibility in the future if they do continue to even have an esports program.
The only problem with that is Halo's in a really rough state.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if Halo's gonna be there in a few years.
But here's what I think though, Pat, and I think Adam App, especially on Twitter, has kind of talked about it this week. But I think he's got strong thoughts on sort of the momentum that happened around 2017, 2018, when MLG especially got bought by Activision, TV started, and there was starting to be momentum on the Activision side. of let's do these franchise leagues. Same with Riot, of like people coming in and being like, oh, esports is booming. All these people have kind of built this grassroots scene. But we want to make it the NFL. We want to bring these sports values, and that whole process has completely failed, essentially. Right? I think we can call it how it is. The franchising movements in Activision, Blizzard have done, the Riot have done, and basically not worked. And I think to Adam's point, I think we all probably agree. What I think was the heyday and where it should go to is, some semblance of those convention center events where you went to in MLG Anaheim and you had StarCraft, you had Smash, you had Call of Duty, you had Halo, you had Overwatch, and there were a lot of experiences in the collective gaming community went to these events and had a great time. I think that is a great path for Call of Duty. I do think, though, for me, I think a core thing that whoever is running next in Call of Duty, whether it's Activision, Blizzard Esports, continuing to run it for a while, or someone else, we need to get momentum back to some version of a LAN league. I feel like the online activity is kind of killing a lot of the growth potential. I think it's killing a lot of the competitive integrity with Sound EQ and stuff like that. If someone can figure out a way to have more of these matches in a LAN setting, I think the value and the scene is going to greatly benefit from that.
I think you could even go ahead.
I wanted to say, even if the matches were on LAN, I'm sorry, but the single match format is, in my opinion, one of the worst things that's ever happened to Call of Duty. And it didn't just start with the CDL, right? It started with the CWO in Columbus, like when we were going to the studio there and playing one match a day. Personally, I don't know about you guys, that's what killed my passion for competing. Like going into a studio and playing one match a day was dreadful. It was boring. That's not what Call of Duty ever was for about a decade. Like Call of Duty was built on the back of just pool play and tournaments and multiple matches and like underdog stories and upsets and momentum. And I mean, we could have all seen this coming from a million miles away, that esports should never have even tried to follow the traditional sports route. It's not the same whatsoever. And so these like league formats where it's, all the teams coming together and playing one other team one times a day and broadcasting all those matches. Honestly, I think it's horrible for the players, and I don't think the fans can get involved in the matches as much. Like you can't just build hype around one best of 5 series in a Call of Duty match that lasts an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and sometimes 30 minutes. We've seen the DoorDash challenges. So, I think regardless of the LAN league fact, I think there has to be a major formatting change. Yeah. And I think, that to me has been a thing for a very long time. It started in 2017 or 2018.
Talking about Black Ops 3, right?
Yeah, but Black Ops 3 was online. The LAN one started in IW, right? Yeah. So even then, I think there just needs to be a massive formatting change if they're going to go with this revival of what worked for 10 years, which I'm mind blown that we went away from. I think you're gonna have to do a formatting change as well.
Are you thinking something like similar to what Halo does, where you still need some kind of seeding activity in between events? The events are the core of the point generation of the season, and that builds towards a chance at the end. Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Yeah, I'm still mind blown. We talk about this whole challenger ecosystem that we've had for years now that just has not been utilized outside of like scalping some of the better players on a team and putting them in the league. But like the fact that pros and AMs don't play each other is mind blowing. So yeah, to your point, like I think 2Ks and 5Ks, whatever we deemed them back in the day, were crucial for the scene, right? They also gave an opportunity for all players to naturally produce content. When you really think about like where Nadeshot and Seth blew their streams up, it was streaming weekend game battle 2K tournaments. Like that's where the organic growth came from. And so, having like, even if challengers played out a tournament one weekend and then they got down to 8 teams and those 8 teams matched with the pro teams on the every other weekend, I think that format would be better. It'd be less for challenger players grinding. It would mix in the pro and challenger play. And then you'd have more to look forward to during those gaps in between events. And I think that's the one thing that would be like the online play would be fair, because it's a small prize pool. It's just online play to mix in. The pros are still going to go hard. They're going to stream. It's going to be something to drive engagement around. I think there's been massive missteps across the board. Not just in Call of Duty, I think multiple esports. And I think it stems from this entire thing of let's copy the traditional sports model. I don't think it works in gaming, and I don't think it ever has or ever will. And I think, we're finally starting to see some, repercussions of that. And, we're looking at, after 4 years of failed, I guess Overwatch has been like 5 or 6 years of just
They're
like
our 5th or 6th year.
yeah, it's getting to the point where it's like, it's coming due of reality. And so
Well, Overwatch has got its own specific problems.
But in general, it's a widespread esports problem, and I think
they tried. Listen, I highly recommend everybody goes looks at Adam's tweets, because I think it gets to the core of the problem, which is non-endemic people came in and thought that they can do sports things in esports, and that took away from what was like really the core growth model of esports, like this engagement, this core event that people went to, this core memory of seeing this collective community. They took that and they split it apart, and that's why things just feel splintered and not as cohesive. The only thing I'll say to your format thing, and we can probably talk about it on a later episode, and then I want to everybody's thoughts in, is like what Halo's done recently is they've gone away from traditional 5K model. What they've actually done, especially with a lot more of their online activity, is basically mirror the event format. So there's like the open bracket portion is a little bit more of like a 2K, 5K, but on the pro side, it's group stage and a bracket, and you basically are playing the same. You're playing the same thing online, same thing on LAN. And I think it starts to build like audience education on what they expect. But go ahead.
I was going to say league format in general is dead. I think you can look at even the best of esports, and the viewership you get from like playoffs and like actual major tournaments to individual matches is just fucking dwarfed. Like you can look at CS:GO, you can look at League, like the amount of viewership disparity is just way too fucking high. And then you get down to the lower end esports like Call of Duty that have much less viewership, like it's going to get even worse. Having individual league matches and just leagues in general is just garbage. We need to go to tournament formats. Speaking of the whole like tournament setting online for seeding and stuff like that, to create that sort of activity to seed for the major events, those create storylines, right? There's not going to be a storyline from one fucking online league match, Optic versus FaZe, but if Optic versus FaZe have this long tournament through a weekend and meet each other in the finals and match up again, like that's just going to create way more like content. It's going to create way more stories leading up to these majors. No one gives a fuck about one match. Like it's not just Call of Duty. It's literally
There's
every
no stakes.
esport.
I just think
There's
like,
no fucking exactly.
a lot of like, I agree with pretty much everything you guys say, by the way. A lot of the issue is I think that like the non-endemic people that came in behind those meetings, like in those owners meetings and those player meetings with the higher ups in the league, they wanted online to be important, and that's why like the points never really changed, and that was an issue that a lot of people had. Like the LAN to online point discrepancy wasn't huge, and everyone was always against it. Like they wanted these matches to mean something, and I don't think that it's impossible. You can't make people care about online COD. It's completely different, and then obviously every player that plays it is just gonna pretty much discredit everything that happens online regardless, even if the matches are the most hype thing in the world. Optic versus FaZe in a best of 5 game, like it doesn't fucking matter, because everyone at the end of the day is gonna be like, we lost online, who fucking cares?
Well, the nice
So like,
thing
how are they supposed to make fans care about what happens online if the people that are playing in the fucking matches don't?
The nice thing if we pivot away from the CDL model, I think the difficulty when you talk to almost all these publishers dealing with these big league formats is they're hemmed in by this like core goal that they have on the number of broadcast hours. And that's why like they're trying to make online matter, because they're trying to make those broadcast hours matter. They can sell against those broadcast hours and monetize things. But if you now move to a completely different model, again, if someone like ESL or whatever is running it, like you don't have to essentially stick to that paradigm, like you make something new. So I agree entirely with Pat. I think whatever we do next, if we can go away from the single league model, if I could see less of London versus Vegas versus each other, is better.
Let them play in round 1 of a 2K, slam each other out of the tournament, and then we just don't worry about it.
We'll go back to having tournaments overseas too, probably. We'll probably have way more tournaments overseas, which would be sick.
Well, Hector talked about that in a recent podcast. He said, bro, like, if the league lets me, like, I'll run an event in London. I don't care. I'll go to the Copper Box.
Yeah, I saw that.
Dude, the people that know how to run COD are the people that have been in COD for 10 fucking years.
Yeah.
And the fact that it just got so out of proportion, and I'm not discrediting, Activision and all these people that came in and tried to make this franchise model work, because there was a lot of work behind the scenes that you guys will never know about. Like kind of Pat said, it fucking failed. Like, this is not going well. This is not going the direction that they wanted it to. And I actually had a question, like, well, Ben and Pat, you guys were talking. Do you guys remember when it was like 2 weeks ago or something, Activision had said something about allowing Overwatch teams and Call of Duty teams to like share branding or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
merge
did
their
this
brand.
just like Overwatch thing just suddenly happen because they seem super optimistic about like having the cohesion between the leagues, and now Overwatch is gone.
I
Like
think-
what?
So
So like what happened?
I think
for
it's the fact that they're
context.
scrambling to find something. That
Yeah.
Like
They're-
is
they're
that, were they
losing
just like trying to
cash.
band-aid fix it? Like,
Yeah.
Is that what it was? Because that's nuts.
Three contexts. One is the Activision Microsoft merger. They want to make sure that that goes through. For Bobby Kotick, like financially for him, he's got a big windfall if that goes through, right? So he's got a financial stake in it. Second is it seems like this provision, and based on the reporting from The Verge, and what was disclosed in Activision's Q2 press release on their earnings, that whatever owners process they had before the beginning of the season, they added this clause as to what happens at the end of the season, in which people have the option to take the money and dip.
Yeah.
So I just think that it's coming out now. Like I didn't think that when Toronto made their statement a month ago about their settlement with Activision, like they weren't going to start this process. It was going to eventually came out, and it came out now. So I don't think it's a recent thing. I think it's just timing with this. Plus, that article from The Verge was also paired with reporting around the layoffs that happened in Activision Blizzard Sports this week.
So like, was kind of a long-winded conversation. We had other stuff to talk about, but like, how if say I don't know 5 teams take the $6 million, right? Then the other teams are just sitting there. Other 7 teams are like, well, fucking what now? You know what I mean? Like, is it just going to keep being a domino effect to the point like, okay, 2 teams did it, all right, 3 teams are doing it. Everyone's going to start looking around like, oh,
I
I might as
imagine
well
they
take
all
it.
do.
And I guarantee you that by the end of it, like, it'll probably be a drawn out process, but I guarantee you that they all take that money. So what does that mean for the league going forward? Like, are we actually just going to go back to a full blown like, fuck it, let the owners of the teams run everything. We'll run our own tournaments, whether that's Adam or ESL or whoever wants to take the reins.
So-
But are we
Probably
going
Adam.
like,
We need Adam, bro.
So
I
just
mean,
to be clear
yeah.
with Overwatch, like I want to read to you what's actually in the Q2 results because I think the wording is important here. According to the amended terms, following the conclusion of the current Overwatch League season, it's just Overwatch League, by the way. I don't know what's going on with COD. I assume
Yeah.
we don't know.
we're all operating under assumptions, by the way, Chad, with the
This,
CDL.
Yeah.
this is on Activision's press release. So this is not reporting. Like I'm reading to you word for word what's in their the release. The teams will vote on an updated operating agreement, aka like their charter. If the teams do not vote to continue under an updated operating agreement, a termination fee of $6 million will be payable to each participating team entity. Total fee of $114 million. So I think it's all or nothing. I think if they don't approve like a new charter, I think
Oh, so they need like
Please,
12-0 kind of thing.
yeah. Well,
And if they
I
don't,
know.
then
we
Like
don't know.
30 Overwatch teams.
is there
We
30?
don't know what the approval,
There's
but
so
I,
many.
I don't think there's a world where like 6
Oh yeah, that's international too. Yeah.
stick around. Now, what could I see with Overwatch? Well, the first 2 years of Overwatch were pretty before the Overwatch League. They had a pretty open ecosystem, and it was pretty successful. Like they ran a lot of really good online tournaments. They did a couple at some MLG events. They had a very big tournament in Korea that was well watched. So, like, I think that Overwatch would go back to its roots. The difficulty with Overwatch is, unfortunately, at the moment, the entire Chinese base can't play the game because NetEase and Activision couldn't agree on extended terms earlier this year. So the game is completely dark in China, and that was a massive region for the game. So
Not only that, isn't it dominated? Like, isn't Overwatch dominated by Asia? And so it's like when you talk about these city-based franchising models, like every team in North America has an all-Asian team. Like, it's hard to grow brands around that in these like United States cities. Like it's
well,
I know.
I think LCS got the same problem, which is in
LCS is all imports.
LCS, all the major North American mainstays all retired or aged out, and now it's all imports. We talk about Overwatch League, right? The best team in Overwatch right now is Atlanta Reign, and they've got like one American player, Hawk. Everybody else is an import in the team. So like, yeah, that is a massive issue with Overwatch. They don't have the marketable stars like Octane and Drazah and Clayster and Zoom, Zoom or whoever. Like we have all these name brands in COD that interact in English-speaking countries, and now we've got obviously Hydra, big in France. We might have the Spanish guys. We've got this variety. The Overwatch problem is that the marketability is purely exists outside North America, and it makes it hard for these teams to sell against and monetize, etc.
Gotta watch out for the French, bro. They're good at everything. Think about it, bro. The French are taking the fuck over, bro. Think about it.
Is Abuza French?
Yes,
He's Belgian.
French.
No, he's
Okay.
Belgian.
Oh, Belgian.
Do not
What about
confuse
that?
France and Belgium, Tom.
What about the
I thought
other
he was
guy,
from Montreal.
Linz.
No, I don't.
He is
Abuza's
French.
from Montreal.
Oh, he is
Wait,
French.
who's
Okay.
from Montreal?
Jimbo.
Nah,
Oh,
wasn't
shit.
Jimbo?
Isn't Jimbo
Oh,
from Jimbo's
shit.
from
Jimbo's
Canada
taking
is-
over too.
And Jimbo's got like
that motherfucker took over. But think about it, bro. Hydra, Wemby, Mbappe, you motherfucker, like the French are just fucking.
Mbappe, bro. Here we go.
Yeah,
you
but
just
you
put
motherfuckers-
Hydra. You just put Hydra and Mbappe in the same fucking
I don't know. I
Dude,
heard,
go.
I heard Mbappe's looking
Whether
for a
it's
new
Paco.
team. So
Whalers, bro. You see, yeah, hold on. No,
Wait, the
you
Whalers- yeah,
see
the
Whalers.
Valkyries.
Oh, Zen in Rocket League. Zen in Rocket League. He's 16. He just won his
That guy's
first
God.
event.
No, that guy's
That
God,
guy's
actually.
fucking godlike.
we need to shout out Whalers, who is a former COD pro. If some of y'all have watched for a while, I mean, he was a mainstay in European COD. This guy moved from COD to Valorant. He's qualified for the VCT, for the main pro league. Like, he's now a fucking Valorant pro. That is respectable. The guy went from like controller esports to PC esports and got to the top of that game. Like, that is extremely fucking typical.
Yeah, another thing to talk about besides for the Microsoft thing is YouTube. I saw a little clip of Hector on the podcast, and you know the way they were talking, they're pretty much solidifying that it's going to YouTube. At least the way that they were. Hector just straight up said it. Yeah, we're going to YouTube, and Seth was like, "Nah, rumor," and he's like, "Nah, people know." You know what I mean? Like it was just true. People do know. But what do you guys think about
What does that mean for watch parties?
You gotta
watch
do
party
them
with the cam on,
you
with
gotta
the
do-
scoreboard in the corner.
Yeah, I
It-
think
listen,
for me
it's-
is I'll probably be live on Twitch full cam with no gameplay unless you know we do some good business with YouTube. But-
Does that mean Seth would do that too, and everyone else is doing a watch party?
I think
Well-
it's unclear, Pat. We have not, you know, us, and I don't think the Opta guys, and we can ask them, like, I don't think any of the major watch party people have been messaged about what a YouTube world looks like. So I think we're going to have to wait until that to see what the watch party guidelines are for next season. Because I assume, like, Tom, if we are on Twitch, like, no
Yeah,
gameplay.
I
go
mean,
back to
You know,
people-
you know what's funny though is they started that whole thing this year, like the whole like graphic. We're doing these like these watch parties. They brought in all these
It's going
creators
so
that
well.
are doing it. It's like a whole program, yeah. And then they're just like, oh well, done with that.
Yeah, I mean, Scump will probably end up doing something with YouTube for the most. Like, I would think that he's gonna do something with YouTube. But we'll see. You know, we'll kind of see how it all unfolds. I met with YouTube actually a couple weeks ago, so you know, they're definitely paying attention to everything, and you know, we'll kind of see how that plays out. But worst comes to worst, we could do watch parties on YouTube and show gameplay. But if it doesn't work out that way, then I'll probably just end up on Twitch full cam. But I see some
That
people.
mean no more not watch parties, no more live tour.
Yeah, well.
I don't know if that's necessarily true.
It depends. I don't really know the rules of
Yeah.
it all. You know, I don't really know how it all works. All I know is the first year we were on YouTube, I was trying to go to events and they were not allowing me in the venue to stream on Twitch. The only way I was
Yo,
allowed
but
in there
Tom,
is
we
if I
killed
streamed
it
on
though.
YouTube.
We killed it.
Yeah, well, bro, we completed the phase tour. I mean, the
No, I'm
flank
talking
tour.
about in Vanguard when we were doing the full game.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, the fact, I mean, I did watch parties and nobody was doing watch parties at the time. I was the only one doing them, and I was just streaming them full cam, no gameplay. So it was just like to go back to Twitch where we're able to show gameplay, and then people like Scump were able to go, like, take off and do that stuff, and we were able to get other creators to kind of get like the graphic you were talking about, like all those creators that were just able to come and stream it. It's just taking, like, I don't know. I just feel like we're taking a step back with that, but I mean,
There's a lot of sides that goes into like a streaming
All right.
exclusivity thing. Like
Yeah.
they probably need the money to stay afloat to begin with.
Right.
So,
Like,
as
the
much as we
YouTube
wanna
bag is
fault
not a
them for
bad
it,
thing.
like,
Yeah, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
You know, it
They get,
really
like,
isn't.
at this on the other side of the coin though, like they probably use the numbers that the watch parties were bringing with like you, Seth, whoever, to like get that kind of deal. So like
Yeah.
on the other side, like it you can play devil's advocate there too.
I mean, we talk about like YouTube isn't a bad thing. Like, yes, that will be, it's monetization, but at the end of the day, I mean, again, the problem is the just watchability, right? Like, there's no need to lie here. The number difference from Vanguard to Modern Warfare 2 had nothing to do with the game, had nothing to do with anything really. It was
culture
just
is better for the game on Twitch.
It's just the fact that it was organically easier to discover.
like objectively speaking, the watching and viewing experience of YouTube is far better than Twitch. But like for culture and like just Call of Duty as a whole to grow within itself, it's better on Twitch.
I
Like
don't know, the live
The quality is
client
better. Like the replay is better.
Hey,
The
Tony.
VOD system is better. It's like
the VOD system is better. I think the buffering is like the Twitch
Yeah.
buffer experience is a little bit better. Here's what I'll say about the watch party thing. Like, and Tom and I have talked about this. Like, if we can't go for the venue for some reason, bro, we did what we did in Cold War. We were at the hotel next to the venue. Like, we're still gonna want to travel to these events, do things with fans, like interact, get people on. Like, we're gonna make it work somehow. But we just
We'll be
haven't
right by the
been
bathroom.
messaged- we haven't been messaged, I think, by Activision yet.
Yeah, no, they did throw us in the middle of the bathroom. That was crazy.
That was
bro.
crazy.
I don't think that
They
was
put us in
crazy.
between the entrance and the exit of the woman's bathroom. It was fucking.
That was
heck.
crazy.
It was
And the
literally
front
like-
door. And the front
and
door.
the front door. As soon as you walk through the front door, boom, how you doing? But Ben's a little sus. I don't know what he was saying, but yeah. Other than the YouTube thing, another thing I wanted to talk about. I mean, we've already talked about this a little bit, but Dylan Envoy is going to Toronto Ultra. It's officially announced now. I know we talked about it a little bit on the last show, but now it's official. Dylan Envoy will be on Toronto Ultra. They announced it about a day or two ago. His mom was tweeting me that she's gonna need purple headsets now, because I don't know if you remember when she tweeted DM me asking for the red headsets, and I ended up leaking that shit, and I ended up fucking leaking roster news. But fucking Dylan Envoy, man, he's looking good. The Prince of the North is what they're calling him these days. Sam, this is your old teammate, man. But how do you think? How do you feel about him going to Toronto? What do you think about the team? You think it's gonna be a good team or what? I think they have a great
I think
team.
it was probably the best move of the offseason so far.
Thank you, Sam. That's what I said.
I think the other one is arguable, Pred for Kyler, but I think 1-for-1 Dylan for Hixie is probably the best move this season.
I agree.
I mean, they
Agreed.
got second in champs. The only pack-a-punch on this team was obviously for Hixie. It's no knock to him. He won a championship with them and got second. But, I mean, Dill is literally just, I mean, I'll hate to say, he's just better. Like, he's just better in every way. Like, the guy's got, like,
Look at that
This
form
is-
as well, throwing the first pitch.
shit pitch,
at the-
though. He can't pitch for shit.
It wasn't
It wasn't that
one,
bad.
bro.
It wasn't that bad. It
Ball
wasn't
one.
that bad, bro. He had good form though, Sam.
Can't even on the
let's
rubber,
look
bro.
at-
Ball
you-
one.
You don't want a 50 Cent in, obviously. Like if you go
Ball
look
one.
up that clip of him throwing a
Nah, the
pitch,
50 cent shit is crazy, bro.
but I mean, I agree. I think this is a massive ad for Toronto, a big upgrade. I think Charlie definitely provided value to the team. They won an event when they brought him on, but I think Dylan's a little bit more talented. His slang's a little bit better. I think you get a little more dynamic movement and route taking from Dylan. I think he's going to be able to be just as unselfish as Charlie is on this
I
team
think
and
he's
really
the perfect pairing with Toby.
enable the best out of Toby, enable the best out of Scrap. Like, this is a great get for Toronto. So I'm excited to see they can kind of kick on. Like, they had a good team last year. They won an event, and obviously got absolutely blown out by New York in grand finals.
They still got second.
Yeah, I mean, they got second. They weren't your 2023 champs like you claimed all year. Maybe that was another typo like the year before, but
But think about this, Ben. Think about this. I predicted 5 events, and the three I got right, and the 2 I got wrong. Both teams got second.
That is typical. That is crazy.
I
That is
mean,
crazy.
you just
Nah, correctly predicting MW2 is actually very
That's
respectable.
that's
bet.
actually insane. That's typical for sure. I'll give that to you for sure. But other than that, I mean, we've already kind of talked about Dylan Envoy go to Toronto. Okay, I think we all kind of gave our opinions on that in the last show. Anything else to talk about before we get into the tier list?
So I think the only Toronto thing is I know Hector. So I got that, and I got one more thing, Tom. I know Hector. I haven't watched the full
Boston.
Optic
Yeah, we got to
podcast
talk about
yet.
Boston too. Yeah.
Is that apparently Optic was also interested in interested in Scrap, but I think it was more the same thing as FaZe or probably other teams of like, is this guy actually gonna be able to move? What's the actual cost? Just exploratory stuff. I don't think there was ever any serious interest there because it would have been a tricky thing. So that was sort of an interesting thing that came out of the podcast. Hey, you want to talk about the Boston thing?
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about Boston. So some really good pickups for the Boston Breach. One of them being Slasher. He signed over there. So shout out to Austin. And then on the other side, we have P-Dog, Priesta from the New York Subliners, which I think is the biggest shock to a lot of people. I don't think a lot of people expected P-Dog to get removed from that New York Subliners team. Obviously, there has been a lot of speculation on kind of what was going on over there. Shout out to Selling for the raid, by the way. Not really too sure if you guys have heard anything or kind of what the actual story is. I know we speculated and kind of gave our thoughts on it,
Well,
but
apparently he doesn't even know.
yeah, I mean, he
If
said
you
he
guys
was going
saw
to
that-
make a
if you guys saw
video.
that stream clip, he said that he is unaware of the full reasoning as well, which take that how you will.
That is bizarre.
Right,
Yeah.
that is a little interesting. I mean, 3 events, one of them being COD champs. I mean, it's a great year, and I know P-Dog's the most winningest player in the CDL right now, so definitely a shock to see him go. And I think a lot of people were saying it was contract shit, money shit. Some people were saying, if they wanted him, they would have kept him. It was on the players, So it's just kind of like a lot
Still
of things
true.
going by. Ben literally called me and said, I talked to a source in New York. Boom. Fuck it. I thought it was all peaches and cream. Next thing you know, he's not there. He's on Boston. I mean, I'm just so confused as to what happened in that camp. And I'm sure if you're Preston, you got to be frustrated, man. I would be frustrated. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. And the rumor on the street is that Sib is going to be coming in and replacing him, which I think is interesting because I think Sib is a really good player, and I think he's going to help them maybe with kills. But
they're getting 6 more kills a respawn.
Right, but I think P-Dog just brings other intangibles to the team.
Hope it was worth.
And I think he just does a lot of other stuff that you need in a COD player, and it's really important to have people like that. And I think that's why P-Dog finds a lot of success in the league and why he finds championships and good placements. Granted they had an up and down year, but I think P-Dog adds a lot. And that's not to take away from Dante. I just think it's 2 different players, 2 different playstyles, and what they need. And I just thought they had a winning formula, good chemistry. I just didn't know if it was the right decision. But what do you guys think, man? What do you guys think about all this?
Shout out to Boston.
Yeah, I mean, Boston.
They solidified that 5th market spot.
They have to pick up a 4th sub. The 4th person has to be a sub, though. The rumor was Dan Ghosty, and I love Dan. I think Dan's a great player.
The worst move they could make.
But that's just too many ARs, and I don't think P-Dog should be on a sub. I think he should be back in that kind of like that flex role, AR role. I don't think he should be on a main sub. So I just didn't know if they were gonna mesh well together. Not necessarily that bad players. They're all good players. It's just it just doesn't mix. The roles and the play style doesn't mix. But who do you guys think? Ben, what do you think?
I mean, I love the move for Boston. My biggest complaint with their team was they had a lot of really talented players, but they weren't really always playing for the W as effective as you saw with LA Thieves or FaZe or Optic or Toronto, and some of that might just be experience. Like they
just had no veteran winning experience on their roster at all.
Yeah, once Zin retired, that kind of screwed them. And they basically have gotten the player in Preston who has the most wins in the CDL era, and they've got Austin who's also got a ring, has been around for a long time and won an event this year. And they have a very young player in Snoopy, but we don't really know much about him and what he can be in this league, but he's definitely talented. You watch him play, he's got that move and he's got that gunny. So I agree, and we'll probably get to it with the tier list thing. Finding the right second sub. I think Boston's done a number in this offseason to upgrade and make their team better. I think finally put together a squad that we're going to feel confident on the weekends, because honestly, with the last Boston team, they can make some Saturdays and Sundays, but I never thought that they were ever going to make a grand final.
I mean, I'm just happy we have teams like Boston that are in the league, because since they've joined, they have proven to the people that choose to be fans of them that they want to win. Like, they're making moves, they're doing things behind the scenes, they're spending the money in order to be contenders. And granted, I wouldn't put them in the top 4 right now, but they stealing that 5th market spot from teams like Seattle, LAT, and Rocker is big to be a new org coming in. So I think they're doing everything in the right direction right now. They're bringing in veteran winning experience that they didn't have last season. They're doing the right things to build that fan base within hopefully a long time in the CDL. Shout out to Boston.
They just now they got to worry about that 4th player. Any idea who that might be, or who you guys think could kind of?
We'll probably get into it when we do
the
teams.
Let's jump in right to the I think we should do the roster building thing, and this would be the first thing we talk about, because I think, and I'm curious to you guys, since Tom kind of pulls this up, is like what type of, because there's a lot of sub players available, and I think people have thrown out 59 names to chat at this point, but I think starting with you, Sam, like what kind of sub player do you think they should add this roster to finish it off?
I am inclined to think that they're going to go with someone that either Austin or Preston has played with in the past. I don't know if they're going to take another chance, because obviously neither of them played with Snoopy and he's brand new to the league. So I feel like they might want some familiarity with the sub duo. So my gut is telling me some form of Kyler, Asum, maybe Cap. They haven't played with Cap, but I think Cap could fit well within this team. I know some people I was streaming yesterday, some people are throwing Eli in here. I think might pair well, but the issue with all of we're going to go through it, but the issue with all of these sub duos from 5 to 12 is you're going to look at all of them and just think they're 50-50. There's no real standout sub duos that you can make right now that you're that's the 5th best one. So I think that you could slot a lot of subs into this role, and I think that you need to pair someone that's going to do the right thing on the map with a player like Snoopy, because he has high upside, just purely off the eye test and playing against him towards the tail end of the season. He's got that Shotzzy-esque style gameplay where he just goes and goes and goes, and he's going to make a lot of mistakes inherently just because of how he plays COD. So I think you need someone like a Kismet to kind of reel that play style in a little bit. Who they choose to go with is obviously up in the air because there's a million options, but I think that's who they should be looking for.
I agree, Sam, because I think we've talked about this a lot with teams in this position. It's you're not, look at the Toronto lineup, you look at the Optic lineup, you look at the FaZe lineup. You got a lot of talent in this Boston team, but like I at the sub duo position, like they're not a simple easy duo.
Yeah.
So you need to have 4 people that are going to execute a system better than those teams. And that is how you're going to beat them is by executing your tactics. And like I think it's a difficulty in finding the second sub duo is a number of the players you named I think are good players, but are going to be interesting and or very difficult system fits and are going to be extremely 50-50 on how they play on a given day.
Yeah, I was gonna say the exact same that you guys said, in terms of like just having someone that's familiar, especially to start the season. I think they probably signed somebody that they're kind of like familiar with, and then they probably just signed like an underrated, like, you know, risky play that doesn't get picked up for their substitute spot in case they need to make a quick substitute in the future.
So the good thing about Boston, just to add on to your point real quick, Chris, is like they're willing to make those challenger plays because I mean they made 17 roster changes last season, so this org is not straying away from making the changes required as well.
Yeah.
So things aren't going
How
well.
come they haven't used Pentagram yet?
Dude, Nate's been
They've had that guy forever.
I mean, Doug has been gassing the fuck out of him too.
Yeah,
Doug has
I mean,
been
we had
really
Nate on our
vouching
sub spot
for
on
him.
Vanguard. Obviously, he didn't get an opportunity on our team, but I think Nate's really, really good. He just hasn't gotten a shot yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say somebody that might fly under the radar if he could get to that level of consistency that he was, you know, prior at the beginning of his career in the CDL, and even he started to turn up towards the champs tail end. I think Mac could also be a really good player here. I think he's playing with a lot more selfless individuals on this team, in my opinion, and so maybe if he can get to that, you know, level again.
I actually don't hate Mac on this team.
I think he could also be good because I don't know. I think he's not bad.
Bro, look, man, I'm looking at this roster, bro, and the only thing I want out of this 4th player is to be a consistent player. I feel like this team is going to struggle with inconsistencies. Like, we still don't know for sure that Snoopy's going to come in and be a consistent rookie superstar. Like, he's obviously had his moments. He looks like he has a ton of potential. P-Dog, though, has had the same issue where he'll be like really good one day and really bad the next. Austin has also kind of had that as well. So I
Who's
think
that
this
consistent
team,
one? You know, Pat, like, who is that?
this team to me has to prioritize getting the most consistent possible second sub that they can. And looking at this list, if we're going off like known quantities, I'd probably say Standy is the only one that I would look at here.
Is Fame still in Minnesota?
No, he got.
I would like Fame
his
on this
option picked
roster.
up.
I would like Fame on this roster. Oh, he did get picked up?
No, he didn't. So Fame was
Okay, yeah,
available, and I agree with
I
you.
would like Fame on this team.
Fame,
I
okay.
wouldn't
I think
I wouldn't mind Fame either.
I think he was hard to judge because of the absolute atrocity of a roster decision that Minnesota made last year with him being on main AR. But once he kind of, you know, got put on the role that he was running for the entire time he's ever played COD, I think he played super well for Minnesota towards the tail end of the season. I think he was super consistent for them making plays. And I think he has pretty high upside. I think Eli's also a good shot to Pat's point as well. I would be happy with either one of them.
What about Cap?
I like Cap too.
People were saying Capsule,
I
Asum,
love Cap. I'm a
Afro,
big Cap fan.
and there was one more. Capsule,
Big Cap
Asum,
fan.
Afro,
Those guys are
and
just
TJ.
all really inconsistent. That's the problem.
I mean, being a
TJ,
consistent
TJ,
sub
that was
is
the other one.
just-
TJ was
being
the
a
other one.
consistent sub in today's Call of Duty though is
Oh,
much
Gwyn
harder than it
too,
used to be.
Havoc, Gwyn, Havoc, Nero.
I mean, you got to think, Pat. All like the super consistent subs are among the top 4. Once you get off those rosters,
don't get
like,
me
you're
wrong.
just,
Don't get me
you know,
wrong. They're not picking from the cream of the crop, but like,
yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like I wouldn't go Capsule because you already have, like, I feel like him and Snoopy are similar. You know, it's like
You could also look at like Joe Deceives. I don't
I don't
think
mind
Joe's.
that either, yeah.
I think Joe's a really
He just
good
got
player.
yeah, his rookie
If he
season is
get-
hard to judge.
Yeah, exactly, and I think he's actually good. My
The thing I like about Cap is the S&D though. I
Yeah.
think this team could be very good at S&D if Cap's on the roster.
My thing
they're
is
gonna need
though,
to be good at search. Honestly,
Yeah,
they're gonna have to grind
that's-
out
yeah.
series.
my thing is though
It's
that
not
when it comes to SMG duos, I know Snoopy's very quiet, and I think that if you have a very quiet SMG player like that, you need somebody that's going to be very vocal in that scenario, because contrary to popular belief, a lot of people are like, oh, the SMG just kind of goes rogue. They need to communicate a lot more than people might think, because they are the ones that influence the map more than anybody else.
That's why we had to make our role change in Vanguard.
Yeah, and if you don't have that type of play, if you don't have at least one SMG that is very vocal in terms of like how they're manipulating the map and not so much as just kind of like communicating the basics, it's going to lead to a lot of confusion around your AR players and where they need to position themselves and stuff like that. So that's just a little bit of, I guess, looking at like metagaming.
You building the 2020 Toronto squad.
Yeah, I just put him there for now. You know,
I think
we'll take him down.
I mean, I'm content with either Eli or Fame here. I think if you want to move on to a different
Either
team.
or.
I think Fame. Trying to think about how Austin and Preston think. I think they may go Fame over Standy. It would be my guess. But I could see either, bro.
Bro, am I faded? Like, why would you go Fame or Joe Deceives or like these, but not go Pentagram? Like, am
Because
I
nobody
crazy?
knows how
'Cause-
Nate's
'cause
gonna
it's the
play
same-
because
but
no one's giving him a
I
shot
don't know,
yet.
but we
It's the
don't
same
know how
issue they had
Fame
last
is gonna
year.
play. This guy was playing on a team running an AR.
And
then
the
a
minute that he
sub,
switched to a
and
sub,
the
he
team
was instantly
yeah,
consistent.
but the,
He
but
was
the
way
team
better.
Was, the team
Way better
was
at the end of the season.
horrible.
It
Yeah,
doesn't.
he was
I
playing
mean,
good
team
at
was
the end of the
terrible,
season.
but he's a known quantity with a sub
Yeah.
at this point. Even if the sample size is small, like he got thrown into running the opposite of his fucking role. Like in the second that he picked up
I mean,
some sort of familiarity on the map, he instantly started playing better.
I mean, but the thing is, like, Joe Deceives also played good on a shit team. Like, you still can't gauge. I feel like you just can't gauge that. I
I
feel
mean,
like if
this
you're
conversation is going to be had with every single sub player.
but that's
in
what
this
I'm
list.
saying. If you're making this kind of risk, why not go with someone that you already have in house that you've had around? Like, what's the difference? What's the difference of the risk? If the risk is the same, why not go with Pentagram?
The difficulty, Pat, is like you got to remember Boston did that risk with like 5 players last year, and it did not result in them winning a championship.
I mean,
So
it
they
wasn't. This
maybe-
isn't going to result in anyone winning a championship. Like, you got to make the best. Right now, you're making the
careful. We
fifth
said-
best team.
We said that New York was
careful.
the best of 5 through like 19 last year, and they were the best team last year. So we should be careful
What?
about thinking that Boston's not going to have the potential to
Careful,
win a
Slay.
championship.
Be careful what you say, Slay.
Dude, has
Teams
anyone
weren't built like the top 4.
Is there-
Yeah,
I
we
don't-
roasted New York last year. We said they weren't going to be a top 4 team, and they won 3 events last
I've had-
year.
I-
But,
was
but the
actually-
teams weren't built like the top 4 teams this year. Like, they literally combined the 5th and 6th teams into the top 4.
There's
Other-
plenty of talent on this Boston team to win an event, bro.
I was gonna
come
say-
on.
I disagree.
I was gonna say I don't think this will happen just because that sort of like history I guess that Boston already had with this player because we even talked about it on the show before. But I think people are kind of underrating Nero in this roster mania. I think Nero is a really good
He did
submachine
get
gun,
unfairly dropped.
especially in this like section, like outside of the top 4 teams. I think he's very good, and I don't know if he's even like in contention for consideration. I think
Damn, Tom.
I think
All right, we got to pick a player, bro. We've been on
We'll
Boston
pick a
for 30
player.
minutes.
We'll pick a player. Yeah, we should pick a player for sure. I mean, you could go with any of these guys, bro. Literally, you could literally pick any of these fucking guys, man. I feel
I'm
like
voting for Fame.
I'm just gonna try and base my decision off who I think maybe President Slasher would want, and I'll say Standy. Maybe Standy. We'll keep
I think
Standy in
they,
there.
I think
Probably
Eli or Fame for
Standy.
sure.
yeah, stand your
Sandy,
cap
fuck
probably.
it.
All right, we'll keep Standy there for now. We'll
I
put
like
him there.
Sandy's just the least risk.
I could agree with that. Yeah, he's definitely the least risk.
All right, we'll put Standy there for now. We'll leave that as our Boston roster. LA Thieves. There was a rumor of
Cammy and Afro.
Cammy and Afro, which I mean,
Wait,
I just
really?
don't like it, man. I just don't
Wait,
like it.
really?
Yeah. You missed this, Pat?
Yeah, man, I wish I'd.
I wish you kept missing it or what, bro?
Yeah, why? Why the fuck did they do
Well,
this?
I mean, the rumor on the block is that what was
They're going
tweeted
full Euro,
exactly
Pat.
is that they were interested in these
They're
players.
going. They're all, the rumored roster is these two with Abuza and Lins.
I mean, I'd rather have a Booza and Lins over Cammy and Afro. Am I faded?
My
I
issue
mean,
with the
I would play with a
Cammy-
Booza. I would want to pick up a Booza for sure, bro.
I
100%.
agree. I think if you're Thieves and
Did we watch the same year?
Yeah. Well, so I agree with the Abuza thing, and especially Linz as well, off of like what Nate Shot said in a recent podcast. Like, it seems like they're gonna kind of not spend a lot of money this year, but they want to try and find some diamonds in the rough, develop some players with their coaching staff, and then like they're a destination if they want to spend next year. Like they'll get people because of the organization, and they've got some intriguing young players.
What role does Lins run? Sorry.
He's a sub.
It's,
He's a sub.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I just think
And
the-
Abuza's
Booza and
name.
Lynch should just stay together, bro.
Yeah. I knew.
I just don't like the Afro Cammy run back because it really didn't work last year. The pacing difference between the two players is like pretty extreme, and like I don't.
Do they run
I
it
don't
back with
know,
bands
is
too?
there-
Yeah, do they bring them all
Like, I
back?
don't know what the
Get
chemistry's
attached on
like
here
there.
too.
Yeah.
And again, like I just want to like when this stuff comes out that like so and so organization is talking to someone, like I was thinking about eating fucking Belgian waffles this morning, but I didn't get Belgian waffles. It's like until we hear that this is like
Going
a
back.
full team that they're under consideration, I don't know if we should take those rumors with like 100% fucking truth.
I don't know
That's my
about you
concern
guys.
if we're just gonna put out from Cammy on this roster.
Hold on, bro. I'm gonna text Cap right now.
I don't know about
Yeah.
you guys, but in my opinion, outside of the teams that we just put together with like, because obviously Slasher and Priest are the next two ARs in line. They got obviously put on Boston. I think the next three quote unquote AR players that people need to look at, and the only reason they need to look at these players is because I think once you start having these teams at the bottom, you're going to really struggle to find this leadership aspect in a lot of the players that you pick up, and you're essentially going to fail to create a team culture, because that's what some of these
You're gonna
players that I'm
end
going to
up like
mention are going to
Boston.
bring. Yeah, and you're just going to end up with this whole just fucked up roster of people that don't want to play together and just have zero culture. People need these teams. This is looking at Thieves and the next like tier of teams. They need to be looking at Clay. They need to be looking at Dylan Attach, and they need to be looking at Donnie potentially out of the next three ARs that are not challenger players. Because I think if you don't get any of these teams, or even if Lamar, if he still plays, obviously Lamar didn't have the best year, but you know what he can kind of like bring out of teams in terms of like team culture and kind of just like getting
Alex
people.
also within that conversation as well.
I think Alec, yeah, I guess is in that
And
conversation
Dan
too. But
Ghosty. People are saying Dan
Oh,
Ghosty
Dan,
as well.
I almost forgot. I
You
forgot
can't
about
forget
Dan
about
too.
that's your
Dan-
son, Chris. It's your
Dan,
son.
that is true. He's not my son, but he's a good friend of mine. I just think he's. I
about
just
water.
forgot about him because he's just young. But
You
I
gotta
think
remember,
Dan is also a good shout there too. You're right.
you've named people that Cap is essentially teamed with before, because Cap is teamed with Dylan, he's teamed with Clay. Has he teamed with Don before? Did they overlap at some point? I don't think so. In OGLA, no. But like I just think that's the other element of this when it comes to Thieves is like Cap's
I'm
got
not-
a pretty big history. Shane's got a pretty big history in the scene,
Hold on.
especially in regards to veteran players, either their team or coach them before. So I think they know the
If
qualities of a lot
LAT
of those
is going with
individuals.
this like entire rebuild, lower pay, like risky young talent, why would they? I don't even know why you would even go with a veteran. Like, why wouldn't you just build like you have
You want like
Captain
just like a
Shane?
full first year team?
Yeah, I honestly, if I'm Cap and Shane, I'm probably getting a Booza, Linz, Ghosty, and whichever I think is the best sub left.
Yeah, that's not a bad fucking team, Slay.
But I mean, look, Tom.
I like
yeah.
that. I like the Abuza and Lens duo. I would keep them together.
Oh, no,
Try to
then
think of
I'm
Brandon
adding
would
Gwyn. I'm adding Gwyn. I'm going Abuza, Linz, Gwyn, and Ghosty. That's my squad.
The thing
Sam,
is though,
what do you think? What do you think Novus would?
What
go as the last
does
spot on that
Abuza
team?
look like? Is this Lens or Abuza? This is one of them, isn't it? Who's who?
that's
What is that,
Liz.
This is Lens, right?
Yes.
And then Abuza's, which one's Abuza?
Oh, I'll give it a
Let
second.
me find him.
Is it this
Am I
fucking? Is it
blind?
this by yeah?
No, that's Journey, bro.
It's
That's
Dang.
why, bro.
Is he even on
He's
there?
the top left. Isn't he? That's not top left.
Oh, he's on the top left. He's
got-
on the, yeah, he's top left corner. He's next to
This
Doug.
is Abuza right here. Boom.
No, top.
Top
yeah,
left.
oh, I thought you
Next to
got
Doug.
it.
You got her ex brother.
Next to Doug, top left.
Uh,
There you go.
No, you got him. You got him. You're good.
Oh, I did get
You're
him.
good.
You guys are behind.
Yeah, you
you guys
got
are
him.
behind. That's what it
Okay.
is.
Yeah.
Now top
And
left
then,
out.
and then throw in Ghosty and Gwyn.
Okay.
I think-
what
I
does
think-
Gwyn look like?
I have no idea.
Quinn is next to Gunless on the right.
Good play, man. Chris, you're so smart.
I was gonna say, listen, as much as that like on paper is like, yeah, that's cool. It's a great like roster. Also, Dan and Gwen are good friends. They would
I still
probably
like
love
that
to team with
team.
each other. It does look good on paper in terms of like first years and potential. My thing is though, is like the big problem with like certain NA players and certain EU players is there's just a comfortability factor in terms of like teaming with either people from your region or just people that you kind of like know. And I don't really know if like some of these people would be up for it if in case of like taking that risk. At least I don't know if like
What?
Dan would. I
What
think
other-
Dan would
what other-
probably.
Get to it with some people.
What
We're gonna
other
get to
team
this
you
with
gonna
some
get
people.
on?
I mean, there's other people. There's other pieces that they could probably put together.
Where? You want
I mean,
to play
I got-
for LAG, Ravens, Surge, or Vegas?
I already
Over
told you.
this?
I already told you. There's Clay there. Donnie, obviously, I think he was actually good. He's super underrated in this offseason. And then obviously, if he likes Gwyn, he could play with Gwyn. There's Nero. There's other players there.
Florida?
Like you can't say there isn't. There are people that are
Is Florida not in
underrated.
there?
Yeah,
There
it's
are
on there.
people that are still underrated, at least in terms of like their ceiling, that I think if you're Dan, you probably look at teaming before you like just take a whole like a big risk and team with two new people that you've never played with before or you haven't seen in the league. At least Dan. I think Dan can do that. he still can make some good choices here that are probably less risky.
Tom, you got him on the Ravens.
I know,
You got my
but
squad on the Ravens.
But what do you want them, Slayer? What do you want these guys?
The thieves.
You wanna, I kept Cammy and Afro there just because they were rumored there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you
But
keep them there as
they're rumored
as a
there,
rumor.
Slayer. So we should put
So
your
who would
team
you pair
somewhere
them-
else. Yeah, what would you pair them with?
You mean who would I pair him with?
Well, isn't the
What
rumor
organization?
Linz and fucking Abuza? You just put them there.
I'm pairing.
Oh,
I'm
it
pairing
is with Cammy and Afro.
I thought you said somebody
I'm
said
pairing,
that.
I
I'm
didn't
pairing
say that.
Cammy and Afro with top 12. That's what I'm pairing them with.
Was it Ben that
Damn,
said
that's
they were?
crazy, bro.
Yo, Ben. Well, wait for Ben to put
I
his
just
headset
got
on.
back.
Ben,
What's
did
up?
you say the rumor was Cammy, Afro, Abuza, and Linz?
No.
Who said that? Somebody did.
I mean, I didn't say that, bro. I didn't say none of that.
I might have said it. I might be faded.
You know? Octane said it. People were saying Sam said it.
Yeah, I probably said it.
I just refuse to I don't know.
But I mean,
man.
like,
It
I
just
feel
seems
like
a
that's the
weird
direction
combo.
that they would want to go, though. To be fair, just the full Euro, double
I can
veteran, double new guy.
Yeah, I could see
I
I could
it.
see Cam. I could see Cam. Listen, over Marcus, I could see Cam on this roster because I feel like Cam checks a lot of boxes from the kind of stuff I think Cap and Shane would want. I don't know
Who's
about him and
Marcus?
Marcus though. Afro,
Afro.
Oh, okay.
because especially with the issues that the Rocker Camp had, and then Afro got dropped. I don't know. I just feel like somehow Cam and Afro teaming back up again just seems weird. But I don't know. Stranger things have happened.
I could definitely
Called it
see.
wrong.
I could definitely see the team like this happening with Linz and Abuza because like you're right, Slay. It's all UK. You know what I mean? It's all they kind of got the same vibe, same personality.
Yeah, but they're
my
going
thing
for
is-
a rebuild. Why, bro? I feel like if you're blowing it up, you're getting brand new players. Why get any known quantities? I'm sorry, but Cammy and Afro are not moving the needle against these other teams that we have on the board.
I was gonna say I don't like it either, just simply because it just seems like they have zero. Well, the thing is though, with their coaching staff, I don't know if they necessarily need that. But there's just no leadership there. There's no at all on the team. They're just kind of just random. We put pieces together or two people that already didn't work on the last year.
Bro, Dan
Cammy and
Goshi
Afro.
somehow turned around an optic. Why would you ever put him or Cammy or Afro instead of him?
I think I would like
the guy
to
literally
see.
played the best out of Dashi, Shotzi, and who at a COD champs.
They said that they were showing interest in him, not that they got him. So we should say that. You know, they were showing interest. It doesn't always mean.
We're just building a team. It's just
Yeah.
rumors.
No, I know.
My interest would go as far as texting them, yo, do you know what airport Linz and Abuza fly out of in the UK? That's the only interest that you ask for. You're not putting these guys on the team.
I think personally, I would like to see Dan team with either Clay or who else is left on the AR list. I'd have to actually look. I can't fucking see it because
Yeah, I'll scroll down for you. I'm just
Yeah.
adding. We're missing some teams here, but
I would like to see Dan play with somebody like Clay or even maybe Big Wake, because he could maybe make up for, I guess, Wake's quiet side and kind of let Wake be that little variable where he kind of just goes rogue and slays.
Big Wake is getting important now because
wait.
he could get kills. You
Or
know, Big Wake can
even-
get kills.
I have an important question.
Yeah, exactly.
So Sam, you obviously retired. You're obviously full-time
That's correct.
content, but you are under the 100 Thieves umbrella, no?
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, right? I wouldn't be surprised. We're talking about the veteran leadership that 100 Thieves would lack, and obviously Cap and Shane are coaching. I don't expect Sam to coach, but I
Hell no.
wouldn't be surprised for Sam to be in the room. It be in some of these conversations. If these guys, Sam's
my
obviously
stream
going to
could
be
be on.
watching. Sam's obviously going to be watching everything, all these matches. Are you telling me Sam couldn't do a little consultant work under the 100 Thieves umbrella? I could see it happening.
Good side hustle.
I mean, to be fair, me doing that would have no impact on the decision making they have on
Not
the map, which is
roster
more important.
changing. I'm saying
No, I'm saying
once
how they
the
actually
season
play
starts.
the fucking game. Yeah, me doing that would have no input on how they actually play the game when
I'm
they're
just saying,
playing the
I
game.
think, no, of course. I'm just saying, I think you could bring
Yeah,
more
I can tell them they're
insight
doing
to the
dumb
squad.
shit all day for sure.
Exactly. Yeah.
But that again, you do dumb shit and then you go onto the map and do more dumb shit. So it's hypothetically sure.
Let's get back on track to building some of these rosters. I think Wake is a good shout right now. I mean, just looking at the list, Wake can get you kills, and I think Wake is definitely going to be paired up with some of these guys on a roster somewhere. At least I would think he is.
I think real
Sam.
quick, Tom,
Yeah.
Dan, I feel bad for him because I think that Austin and Dan would have played if Preston didn't have this whole scenario play out.
Yeah, agreed.
So I think Dan has two routes here. I think he goes either with Dylan attach or he goes with Wake, and to Chris's point, because I think he enables Wake super well. He would make up for all of Wake's miscomings with the objective and comms and playing the game correctly.
I think he could also go with Donnie. I think a lot of people still underrate Donnie,
cool
and Donnie had a really good year in Vanguard. He was also still pretty good. I think people underrate Don a lot. I think he's grown a lot as a teammate, as a human being. He's good, man. He's a shooter.
I can see Don staying on Vegas. Is he staying? Does he have the keys to
That's
Vegas?
a lifelong. That's a lifelong.
Him and McGee are like the duo over there.
Here's the Tom is that fucking car is fucking not in the garage until like October. So you can have the keys on Vegas, but they're not making a decision for a long time. So even if you do, you're not gonna be able to make a team. The car is not in the garage. You cannot go take that car driving. Yeah.
I mean, you gotta think these guys don't have
the car's in the shop, Tom, for a minute.
Wait,
Jesus
think about
Christ.
it though. These guys don't have to facilitate a roster until what, like October,
time. They have
November?
so much time.
Yeah, why? If the whole premise of this is cutting costs, why would you pay people to a 5-month off season?
Yeah, there's actually no rush at all.
And to see what London and Vegas are about to do, because that's exactly I think what's going on.
I think it's gonna be more. I mean, bro, like no disrespect to these players, but like let's be honest here. This like 6 through 12, you could flip a coin.
It's probably
right?
irrelevant.
Like, even if you take all these players and mash them up, like I don't think it would matter. You know, I feel like they're all just going into it blind.
I mean, it's just gonna follow the natural order of how every competitive thing ever goes. And you have 6 through 12. You find the good players. You take them through the 5 and 4 spots. Then those teams take them to the 1 through 3 spot. Like it's just gonna be a natural.
That's what I'm saying.
Ladder.
So why in the next 4 months? Why would you pay these guys, even if it's the minimum? Like,
I don't know.
I don't think any of these orders are gonna make moves.
Because the problem is they're not
missing out.
Playing people the ultimate bottom minimum. They are in competition with other teams to sign people, and so unfortunately, they don't.
Are they really?
Leverage. Yeah, I think they probably have some leverage here.
But like, when we look at the talent, like, are you missing out? Like, are any of these players, like, when you look at all these players left, like, if one of these guys gets signed,
I think
and
you're
you're
definitely
an orc
missing
who
out
is
if you're talking
interested
about Ghosty, Wake, Attach.
Yes, I was gonna say.
Tyler. There's a lot of people here that you can kind of get. I mean, I throw Mac in there too.
No, I was going to say the same thing, Sam, and I'll tell you why. Listen, granted, it was a one-off, and we obviously don't know their potential and how they would have evolved. They made a lot of roster changes. I'm going to go back to this Boston team and how they played with Zinni right before. They got, like a top 6, and then they got a top 4 when they brought in Beans. Yeah, granted, there are things like strength of schedule and all that stuff that play into, like, where people seed and how teams place and stuff like that. The fact that the Boston team was able to get a 4th place, no offense to any of the Boston players or the team, I can build a team that is, like, out of all these people, that is potentially better than that team and more consistent, and has higher upside. With some of the GM with some of the similar players, bro. Like, I'll give it to you right now. Like, we talked about how Boston lacked leadership prior or after Zinni's departure, right? I think Ghosty fills that role, and his potential and ceiling is really high. Obviously, we saw him get better at the end of the year, and we know what he did in Challengers, right? So you obviously take Dan. You can easily take Big Wake here, because we know he obviously has high slaying upside. He's obviously been a pretty good player for the majority of his career. Granted, he has his criticisms, and then you could take either one of you can take either Cap, Fame, Nero, any mixture of those, like, subs, and you immediately have, if not a similar or higher ceiling than you would have with the Boston team with Reese. No offense. And then you bring on another. Oh, you already have. There you go. Actually, I just built it. I literally built a team that is very similar, if not with a higher upside, that fills the gaps and the whole problem that the original Boston team had with zero leadership, with putting in Dan. You could almost take the Boston team prior with fucking Reese, Wake, and Nero hypothetically, and throw Dan on there. You get a really good leader with a very good player that has higher upside, and then you let them do their thing. Like,
wait, hold on. You want to take the entire
No. I'm saying hypothetically you could with these remaining pieces, and you could improve upon their original formula, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but then you're just getting a team that goes from 4-1 event to 12th the next event to 12th the next
Okay,
event.
and that's not what I'm saying, bro. I'm saying that, like, hypothetically, you could build a team that has, like, a similar ceiling with a person that could probably improve their consistency in Dan. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying take the fucking same team. I'm saying hypothetically you could build something like that, and those people are good. They're not bad. Obviously, for the gap of teams that we have, I think that's probably that arguably is a similar team in terms of in like Boston, like the
What's Blood
Boston.
waffling about?
Well, let's go down. Listen. Let's go down the list here, right? Let's start with Vegas. Let's go with Vegas.
Do not start with Vegas.
Well, I threw Donnie in there. Because
do not start with Vegas because we're gonna
that
go
makes
down
sense.
this.
We shouldn't start with Vegas. You're right. I was just going down the list here, but we should go to Vancouver.
You start with whatever team Dan is on.
Rocker
next.
and Seattle, I think, are probably the next dominoes to fall after.
I think we do
Leafs.
Rocker next.
Yeah.
All right, let's do Rocker next. Right now I have Clay there, but we could throw Dan. What about a Clay and Dan duo? That would be interesting.
I think that enables Dan to do more of what he was doing in Challengers.
I think that would be a ratty duo.
Like a 1.2.
But that is more so if Dan wants to be in that position.
See,
if Dan
that's why I
wants to
think
take
Dan's
more
so
of a
pivotal here, though, because he can do both.
Yeah, if he wants to take more of that leadership role that he kind of filled for Optic, and he wants to kind of like be the person that is enabling his teammates, then he probably would go with Wake here. Exactly. If he's not doing that, then he probably goes with Clay. And those are his two options, in my opinion, and that should be the duo. So it's up to us, I guess, what he want him to do here in this scenario.
We could arguably say that Wake Mania are for Surge or Rocker, or Clay Mania are for Rocker or Surge. We could just put them both there.
I think we go with Dan and Wake on Rocker. I feel like the way that the Rocker camp thinks, I think that's probably where that's gonna go.
What do you mean the Rocker camp? Didn't they fire their like Brian Sane and co and whoever was coaching?
I think Jake's
still there.
Well, to be honest, hypothetically, if we didn't take these rumors with Cammy and Afro supposedly on Thieves, it's just the next tier of teams. The next tier of teams is going to be Rocker, Surge, and Thieves.
Yep.
Regardless of the name, I think something like this is a very feasible roster or duo.
I hate everything but Tom's about LIG, but we'll get there in a bit. I think the question for Rocker then is what subs do we pair with Rocker?
I already said it, bro. I'm telling you right now. I think you throw Nero or Joe Deceives or both,
Fame?
or Fame, like any of those. I think your next tier of SMGs in terms of known quantities are Nero.
Well, the rest
Vivid.
of them are known. That's the problem.
I said Nero, Vivid, Fame, and who was the other one? We just said it. Joe Deceives. If you want to take a risk, and I know Dan and Gwyn are both pretty close. Gwyn is another one. I think Hook is also an option there, but I don't know.
I mean, Dan and Kyler have played in the past. I don't know if they would be willing to play again, but there's a connection.
That is a good question. I don't know if they would go with Kyler, considering although they got a couple of second places, it didn't end well. And I feel like if you're going to run it back, there needs to be a little bit of a gap in that situation. I feel like we should put Fame in this, with this and make it a team of 3 and figure out.
I mean, he already got the Minnesota tie. That's what I was going to bring up as well.
I think putting Fame here seems like a good shot. We just got to figure out who. I like Nero.
I like Nero in this as well, because you get two of the. I think prior to the whole beans and the whole roster shuffle, I think you get some of Boston's old like best players in terms of like pop off potential, and I think you get Dan in that leadership role, and you help them become consistent.
Do we have Cap on the board yet or no?
Cap is also an option. I totally forgot about him. There's so many people.
I don't know if we put him in.
I think another option for Rocker at this point would be Asim. Would be the other one, because Asim's been on Rocker before, and he's had some success ish. But I could see that him and Dan pair from like a leadership in games calm being a really good balance against Wake's comms are sometimes a little bit iffy. Nero's has gotten, I think, better over time. I feel like that would be a pretty good combination of like, we're kind of building a team from scratch.
I also see Godarex. Godarex was on Rocker before, but I mean, like that's the thing with like these people that haven't been in the league for a while or haven't been in the league. It's kind of hard to kind of gauge what like interest some of these franchises are like looking at them. Like, I don't know. Asim could be a good one too. Yeah.
Do you want to put Asim in there and just move on?
Sure.
Yeah, we can put Asim there, and then I was also Godarex. What about Godarex and Pander? You think these guys are getting out on the team or what?
Pander retired.
Where's he going?
He's not playing anymore.
Pander retired. It's a shame because he was good.
Wait, why did he stop playing?
Because he was on my Seattle team and no one cared after that.
He doesn't even play it a little bit, like not even a little bit.
No,
he played all of last year, and he was one of the best players. And he played in all of Vanguard, and he was one of the best players. And
So
I mean,
he's
I
not
feel
even
like
going to try and get on. He's not even going to try and get on a team.
Bro, but
He
Tom,
couldn't.
like
No,
Tom,
he's a
like
civilian.
he has a kid. Okay, civilian's crazy. He has a kid. Like I feel like this is gonna start happening where like these challenger players are gonna age up and get to that point where it's like, you know, you have to start thinking about sustainability. Like
Yeah.
life costs money. And right now in challengers, it's just not an ecosystem that you can make money in. And you're just gambling year after year to get picked up on the CDL teams where look at what like I gambling on this when like the salaries were ridiculous made sense, but now that like the salaries are coming down to like realistically the teams that these challenger players are gonna get on are most likely going to be 6 through 12, and the 6 through 12 as we know are doing massive pay cuts, and
Those
so it's
salaries
like
are not that appealing anymore.
yeah, so it's like the money that you're gambling to get into the league, you could just go and get a full-time job and make the same amount of money.
Right,
Yeah.
you could play in the CCL and do COD on the side while you get your education for a job that's going to potentially play higher than you would if you make the fucking
That's
league.
So like I don't know how old Panda is. I'm assuming he's like getting up his mid 20s now. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I mean it's just like it's one of those tough calls that you got to make as an adult. This is also what happened to a majority of COD players before the salaries came in, right? Like when we're talking back to 2008 to like 2014, like the reason these like staple, if you're new to Call of Duty and you don't know like a lot of these staple names, like we're talking like Assassins and even Pac-Man and like these people that played in the early days of COD, they aged up to the point where you just have to make an adult decision that like and at the time salaries, I mean my complexity team got like 500 a month in Black Ops 2 and then like 1,000 a month. Like that's $12,000 a year to be a professional Call of Duty player, right? Like even if you're the best team. And so people age up and have to just make adult decisions. I feel like we're kind of like hitting that wave
Yes.
again in the opposite way.
Slightly off topic, and I'm glad you brought it up because we brought this up a while back. How like the whole challenger schedules and the fact that they're scrimming at the same hours that pros do and all this stuff. If any of my challenger friends are out there listening to me, unless you're God's gift, get the fuck in the CCL. Or change the schedule in general so that way you can work a part-time job, something that's flexible.
That, bro, the schedule shit is insane.
Something that's flexible. That way you can still play with COD, you can still chase that dream, but you can also build yourself some sort of foundation or financial security or build your education while also competing in your dream. Because before when the salaries and all that stuff were super high and stuff like that, the upside of making it was insane. But with like how things are starting to stack up nowadays and your realistic possibilities, find some stability because you
I don't
can
understand why the
have a better
challengers
career
are still playing on the pro schedule. Like
for free, bro.
you're,
Yeah,
bro, I'm
that's
telling
making
if
no money.
any of you
Favorite
challengers
fat.
are watching, you're legit insane. You're like you're like costing your life to stay on the pro schedule. Like that's mind
You can
blowing.
still play the game, but not like that. Not like every day, like all
It's
day.
insane. Bro, the old schedule, like not even like early COD, like old Halo, like when it wasn't sustainable outside of events to just make money, like you were just good enough that you wanted to still go to events, there were no salaries. They played late night, like they worked
Yeah, we were
or
scrimming till
school,
midnight.
and then it was like scrims at like 8 or 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Like, that's when they
Look
started.
at other
Like,
games like Halo and shit. Like even some of the European COD players that play in challengers have jobs and scrim like different hours. I don't want to touch on that that topic too long. But dude, the fact that people have been doing this shit, myself included, right? I obviously lucked out, but dude, people have been doing this shit for fucking years, like 5 years of their life, just making bare minimum or no money from challengers, trying to chase this dream. And listen, I respect the hustle because I've been there, but at the same time, it's just like it's not smart at all.
that's what I was saying. You age up and you get to that point where you can't do that anymore. You just realize
Yeah.
it. You become an adult.
Let's move on and talk about. I think so. We got Rocker done. I think the next team is probably going to be Seattle. So this is an interesting one. The rumor is that Rambo is getting involved with this organization. So I'm curious if you think there are maybe some former Rambo players that he's in a team with or coach that might gravitate towards this team.
Well,
Is that 100%? Is Rambo going there 100%?
That's the
That's like
rumor.
a-
It's the
yeah.
rumor.
I
Yeah.
thought the rumor was
was
that
relatively
Rambo
old,
was gonna link up with the French and fucking
Yeah, this is where
Booza. I thought
Booza and
that's where
Linz-
those two were supposed to go.
Yeah, this was like 2 weeks ago. I think was like Rambo, Booza, and Linz.
Want to move them out of Thieves?
No, because I think Thieves is probably still a better. If I were them, Thieves is probably still a better destination.
I mean,
Yeah,
the rest of the teams are literally just other. I think barring like LAG, probably the rest of the teams are just whoever the fuck we want to put there because there's no real rumors tied to them.
Well, let's talk about the Seattle situation. So, like, right, let's just step through this because I think this is where this is going to go, and we're going to have some strong thoughts. All right, so if Ray is going for former players, like Ender is definitely, I think, a player that can end up on this roster. I think that would be a good start for him. I think him and Ray have some good chemistry with each other. They've won, and I kind of like that. The problem is I've heard a lot of names being paired with Ender, and I don't like any of those teams.
Alec.
The Alec combo with him, I don't know what y'all think of the AR duo.
Well, they have been the ones being rumored, have they not? It's Alec and Illy. It's them together. They've
been rumored for 2 months at this point.
Yeah, they've been rumored.
Yeah.
I mean, what do y'all think of that?
I wouldn't even mind if assuming Illy can get back to that form where he's healthy. Obviously, ever since that whole, I guess, hand thing that happened, he just kind of hasn't been the same. But if he can get back to that level of consistency where he was really good, or at least super impactful, I wouldn't mind seeing him match up with Clay again.
No, dude.
Lord.
Bro,
Really?
Rambo's got to be much smarter than this. Rambo's got to be smarter
Wait,
than
I
this.
could see it happening. It's like an empire, bro.
But like, here's the problem: is I love Clay, but like Clay did not have the best statistical season this season. Let's call it how it is. Now
Neither did Alec.
It wasn't terrible.
Alec was even worse.
Neither did Alec.
And neither did Illy's last season.
There's not very many options at that level, bro.
This is what I'm saying, though. Why not risk? Bro, that's my point. Why wouldn't all these orgs just risk teams? Like, make something that if you're gonna pay all these guys the same, right? The gap in the past was like, okay, if you're gonna take the risk, that means you're paying low. Well, now every team is paying low. So why not just take risk and get an unknown squad? Not an unknown, but like a risky squad. Why go with like an Alec who put up a 0.8 throughout the whole year and was the worst player on his team, or Clay or Illy? Like, what is the point of that?
Who's that risky squad, Pat? Like, who's that risky squad?
These Gwyn guys, they're like these Lins, like these challenger players.
Did Gwyn get let go by the
Pentagram, like these guys, bro. These challenger players.
Well, that's because they don't want to pay him all season.
It's the same thing as like Snoopy and Fame and Crimp. Like these guys, bro.
Gwyn guys.
Take some risk on these guys.
Hold on. I think
you're paying them all the same anyway.
Wait, I still think yes.
Drop them if they are ass.
I agree. I agree with taking risk, but I still think there's at least 1 or 2 pieces for each of these teams that is going to take these risks that they can still like fit in there and kind of just be like, okay, help these guys out. Your experience. I think Clay is one of them. I think Alec is potentially one of them. I think even Illy is potentially one of them. Donnie is potentially one of them. Donnie's still. Everyone's like, oh yeah, he's going to be on Vegas for sure. But like, that is not. How is that not necessarily true? Listen, as much as like Donnie has been with Vegas, the thing about Vegas, regardless if they're paying the same, there are teams actually out there that have facilities that they can utilize and that are going to have still way more.
Those still going to be around for sure.
I would rather.
I mean, I would assume so.
I would rather see Ender and Donnie on this team than Ender and Alec, bro. I'm gonna stick my neck out on that one.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, it's
as
like
a combo. I just
if this is the next team in line,
I'm not being the org to sign Illy. I gotta see something else.
If this is the next team in line that is looking for the best players possible, I think Donnie goes on this team, and I think Donnie gets the fuck out of Vegas. Period.
Bro, but Illy didn't even play, right? He didn't even play challengers. Challengers.
No.
Yeah, like he basically just took 2 years off or whatever, a year and a half off. Like he didn't even play COD. You're telling me you're gonna sign Illy?
He took less than a year off because he played up until like January.
But that was
6 months.
But no, he got off the team last year.
Plus Vanguard.
Didn't play. Played like a month and then disappeared again. Like
yeah, but he started this year with that happened. They dropped him and then they picked him back up. And like,
I mean, Illy low key is a risk, Slay, like you were saying. I mean, it's like see what.
Yeah, but I'm saying I'm not going to be the org to do that. Like I'd rather see him be okay and then sign him next year. Like I'm not.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that either with the whole. Just how inconsistent he was towards the tail end of the optic thing, him obviously getting dropped, and then like the rumors of the whole like hand injury thing or thumb or whatever the fuck it is. I don't remember
that's
anymore.
Like the same logic of going and like signing Saints and Decimate and like other players who just have stopped playing. Like it's the same thing. Like
listen, man, I think Illy deserves another shot, but I think he got some good rest to his hand. I could be a little biased to this situation.
I'm sure he does.
But I know what he's going through, but.
Here's what I would say,
it's
Tom.
not like Illy was a bad player. He was like Illy's a really good player to have in your
No,
team.
there's still
If he's on point.
Hold on. Illy is. Let's
ahead,
call
man.
Illy
Go
how he
ahead,
is, and then I want to make my point. Illy is a career like mid .9s type of player. He's a really good kind of role player on a team. He's going to have really good work ethic. He's going to be involved in strategy, involved with situational discussions. And when I've talked to people that have teamed with him, like they think that stuff is good. And maybe
I mean, you just got to pair kills with him, bro.
that's the thing is you got to
just
play
have
him
to.
around Slayers because yes, events where he was successful, he was dropping ones, but outside of that, he was not. And more often than not, that's where you're going to get. I do think if he's going to go to any team in the CDL, it's going to be the one where Rambo Ray is coaching. I think that's the most likely decision.
And who would his AR duo be at this point? That's what I.
It
Well, he's
can't- it
rumored
should
with
not be
Alec. It's Alec, bro. That's the rumor.
It should not be fucking.
It should not be Alec. It
That's a
should not
fucking
be
absolute
Alec.
mistake for both players.
You might as well throw
Catastrophe,
Hook
bro.
on the team too.
I mean, we can't pick and
Just-
choose if
just
we're
be
going
the-
based on
just
rumors,
be
then,
the-
because then we could just take.
Just be the
God,
most
I can't watch
inconsistent
that
team in the
bro.
league.
If we're
Bro,
going
We
based
can't
on
operate
rumors,
on rumors, bro.
if we're
Because
going
we
based
put
on
Abuza
rumors,
and Linz on Thieves based on rumors. Now we're not going based on rumors for LAG. Like we have
Yeah.
to pick one.
we have to pick one. Yeah, I think we just put them together and try to salvage the
We
situation
can't.
here.
We can't pick and choose. What we're
Who's
doing
who's the fourth? Who's the fourth? Who else are we throwing on this squad?
We might as well throw Kyler
Yeah, right,
on there.
Sam. We're being
Yeah, we already
we're,
threw Kyler on.
we're
LAG,
contradicting
bro.
ourselves, Sam. We're
did we-
contradicting, bro.
Did we put Eli on a team yet?
Man.
Yeah, we got Eli on
Yeah,
the,
Eli
What are
was
the
awesome.
other, scroll down,
breach.
Tom. What are the other sub options?
Let's take a look here. Mohawk's here. I know he's on a sub, but we haven't talked much about Mohawk yet. Big P, I thought was interesting. We haven't talked about much about Big
P's
P
not
yet.
going to team with Illy and Alec.
No, I'm just saying, just in general, players that could potentially get on teams. We don't have a lot of teams left, guys. You know,
Subs.
we
We
don't-
need
man.
subs.
we
Who's
don't
a
got a lot
sub?
of
Scroll.
We don't got a lot of. I'm looking. We got Havoc, Cole Havoc, Vivid Reese, boom.
No.
Vehicle?
Wait, let's throw Neptune in there.
Too real,
Yeah.
Neptune.
Holy fuck.
PJ.
Yeah, baby,
TJ.
that's the squad to watch.
This is to blow it up.
Wait, Teej and Kyler.
We're
sub
building the
duo.
blow. We're building the
what
Oppenheimer right now.
What do you think about that?
Exceed.
We're
No,
building
we're,
the
we're
Oppenheimer, bro.
fucking trolling.
Wait,
bro.
our city's in Neptune. That's history.
We're building the
Vance.
Billy and
Oppenheimer,
who?
bro. It's the Christopher Nolan roster.
Wait,
Kimbo.
I wouldn't mind Joe Disease on this
Mac.
squad. He was better than every
No,
single one of
bro.
these guys last year.
It's LAG again, man.
It's actually a
Joe
worse version of
Disease.
LAG. That's insane.
Wait. Someone said Mac. This
Ramp.
might actually be not the
Nah,
worst.
apparently Mac and
There's
fucking
so
Vivid want
many,
to play with
bro.
each
Holy
other.
shit.
Mac and Reese want
There's
to play with each
so
other.
many
Yeah.
subs.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
that's the trash. That's the
Trash
trash
bro
bros
duo.
duo.
I would
This is
hate to be
insane.
these bottom six
Bro,
orgs
people
right
gotta-
now.
People
bro.
got stuff running back. Again, the problem with the CL squad is like that trio that we
Their
got right
roster is the
there
problem.
just fucking did. Like I know those players maybe want to team with each other or have teamed with each other in the past, but like there's a lot of reasons why it didn't work the first time, and there's just
Those
a lot
guys
of
are probably in
reasons why
a.
it worked
Those
then.
guys are for sure in an iPhone text chat right now, talking about who their force is gonna
No
That's
way.
what happens in these situations. Is like
be with
in
Rambo
this-
Ray in there.
in this chaos of like uncertainty on all of these teams, people go to what their fucking comfort is, which is people they've teamed before. people
Which
they
is
know,
why
people
I'm
they hang
saying
out.
orgs should not let that happen. They
I
should
know,
just
I agree.
go with
It's
these
fucking
like
dumb.
completely risky, like the Gwyn guys, bro.
The Gwyn guys.
Yeah,
The
but you also,
Gwyn
the
guys.
problem is you got to be in the middle because you can't do like you can't just throw a leftovers team. We've talked about this. Like you can't just throw a leftovers team together and be like, yeah,
Bro, that's not a
That's
leftover
it.
team. Like Abuza, Gwyn, Linz, and Dan Ghosty, that's a squad.
It's literally
I
just
might-
high
I
ceiling
might
challenger
pick-
players
I
led by
might pick
Dan.
that team over Boston. No bullshit.
nah.
Wait,
I
I'll-
might pick that team over Boston.
I'll
In a,
say
in a,
that
in
you're
a
smoked for that.
in a
Preston
five-game
Austin might wait,
series.
so Preston is the most like, dude. I don't know about that.
Bro, you're telling me that Gwyn, Ghosty, Abuza, and Linz could not upset that Boston team in a 5-game series?
Maybe
Boston,
one out
Boston.
of fucking-
No,
We're
no, no,
actually
here, listen to me, listen to me, listen to me.
spewing right now.
The current, the
Now
Boston
we
rumor
are.
team,
Spewing right
the
now. bro.
Boston
What?
rumor team, the Boston rumor team outside of their fourth that we have no idea who it's going to be is listen. They have experience and they have potential, but like, dude, we need to stop acting like they are the guaranteed fifth team.
They have
Like,
inconsistencies
They have
written
inconsistencies.
all over
They
them.
still have inconsistencies. Yes, exactly.
I
So
might
So
feel
give
bad
me
for
a
Snoopy
fifth
next year.
team of the
Nah,
teams that we've made so far.
I'll say this: the Boston team, like it is.
Give me a
kind of
fifth team that we've
similar-
made so far. Then.
See,
wait, I already said it. Potentially a team with Dan, like at his like getting better and leading a team with Wake, Slayin, and like fucking two underrated subs. Maybe they get some consistency. That could also be a team that is
that's-
right
that's
up there.
It's the rocker
Okay.
team we built. rebuild. So like,
yeah, exactly. Something like that could also contend with those guys in terms of that spot. Like they're not to be slept on.
We need to finish
Dude,
this.
Tom,
Okay.
what are you doing,
Dave
bro?
motherfucking Patty, baby.
Okay.
Well, these rosters on the tail end are just
Get
gonna
them
get
back
through
in
guys.
there
We just gotta
now.
send them. We just have to send them. Okay, so who we
Now.
putting with the we
No.
putting with this Vancouver Surge, bro? Who is
Immediately.
it?
What's up,
Right now, I have the Alec Illy duo with who?
Who's the guy? Who's the guy in between Mohawk and Neptune? Who's that?
Mohawk and Neptune. I can't
Between
see.
Mohawk and Neptune. That's
I will tell you right now.
I was gonna say
That's
Jerd,
Eric
bro.
Boom.
My man looked like Jerd.
That's Eric Boom, bro. That's the Spanish. That's the
Never
Spanish
mind.
roster.
Never mind.
That's from that Florida, right?
Wait, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about it? Fuck it on Seattle. What do you think about Ben Mans?
Oh Lord.
Listen, bro.
That
Those guys
man's
have.
Tyler Subduo.
Listen, as much as they
I'll
have
actually-
negative slaying power.
I'll actually bet against that team every match all year long.
Oh my god.
This team right here,
That's
the
your
third,
fucking
bro.
head. Nah, yeah, I'm trolling.
Bro,
I'm
slay.
trolling.
No
Holy
way, bro.
shit.
You would bet against this team all year? You wouldn't give him any?
I don't even know if they'd be good at. They wouldn't even be good at search, bro.
You don't think so?
Nah.
Might be like some weird chem.
Nah, the bottom
might
of
as
this
well
league,
throw me
bro,
on the
we're
squad.
actually in the
No
ninth circle of hell.
No way.
The band's collar something
Bro.
which is not offended. Yeah.
After we hit that fifth spot, holy shit, I'm in the
Bro,
clouds.
are you telling me that the Gwyn guys squad is not
man.
a
No,
good
no.
squad?
I think Minnesota, Boston, I'm cool with. After that, I'm actually in the clouds. Like,
Alright.
what the fuck?
Wait,
bro?
wait,
No,
even-
wait, I don't
even
know. I don't
Thieves?
think so. I don't think so. I think there's another decent team you could put together outside
Bro,
of the
we're all
rumors.
playing for sixth at this point. At best, at this point, like
No,
none of these teams are beating the top four.
I think you can
period.
throw. I think no, that's not that. Well, you don't know. Like potentially, I think you can throw.
All right, any of these
listen,
teams
I,
gonna win an event.
listen,
bro.
I have a potential team here. At least
Okay.
3 of them.
Yo, hold on.
I think
before,
you throw
before Chris
Go-
goes,
Let
before
Hagen
Chris
cook,
goes,
bro.
wait,
Listen to me.
before Chris goes, real quick. This is a
Let
different
Chris
topic.
cook.
Real quick, off topic. Yo, Gwyn, Linz, Abuza, and Ghosty, hit me up. I'll sign you guys. I'll be your agent, and I'll get you
No
guys on one
way.
of these squads.
Let
How
me-
much
let me-
how
let me-
much are you taking though?
Let me put together.
I'll
let me
do it
put
for
to-
free just to prove a point, Tom.
Yo, let me put together a
Yeah.
3. Let me put together a
Let
3,
Hagen
and then
cook,
you
bro.
guys
Let me
help me
hear it.
figure out the 4th. All right, Godarex and Gwyn, they won Challenger Tamps together. Godarex is AR, Gwyn is a sub.
Okay.
Fame, Godarex and Fame played together, had a lot of success in Challengers throughout the majority of their career in Challengers last year and in Vanguard, and you put him on a sub. So you get Gwyn. If you know Gwyn, he's very quiet, but he's a very good S&D player.
He's
and
taken.
He's obviously. No, he's not. He's not on one. Dude, shut up. Not.
He's on
I'm
my
talking about
squad,
what-
the Gwyn
I'm talking
guy.
about the current ones. So you put
The name of the team.
Godarex, and
Yeah.
you put Godarex, you put Gwyn, and then you put who was it? Fame. So there's your sub duo. They would need an AR, and that is a potential like bottom, like not bottom, but like you know what I mean, like the leftover teams. That is not fucking shocked. Looking at that roster,
Which one? Tom didn't follow you.
Gwyn, Godarex, and Fame. And they
Gwyn,
need an AR.
Godarex, and Fame.
Yes, Gwyn and Godarex played at Challenger Champs together. They won. Godarex and Fame won Challenger tournaments.
I'd rather have
their
Abuza
entire
and
career-
Linz
their-
with
their
Godarex
entire
and Gwyn.
span
Why
together.
Fame? Why Fame?
Bro,
Why not
because I'm
Abuza and
talking about the
Linz?
people that are, dude. I'm talking about the people that are not already put on a on the list. Like Abuza and Linz are
Abuza
already.
and Linz are on the list?
Yes, they are. They're with fucking the thieves.
Yeah, we got him up the thieves right now.
So we need a leftover team with Godarex. Listen, that's mine. Godarex, Fame,
thought that was
Gwyn,
Tom
and a
Gravity.
4th.
On the
That is
right.
not a
Tom,
bad-
Tom
That
Gravity's
is not
down
a
here
bad
somewhere.
team. That is not a bad team.
This
Anyone
is
that says
Tom.
that's a terrible team is lost, bro. Like they would
kinda looks like
have they would
Abuza,
also
no?
have Chem.
A little bit. They
Well,
do
it's
kind of look
aligning.
alike.
I agree. I'm just trying to think what org we'd put him on.
Yeah, I was
Well, I
gonna
mean, it's
ask
just
you
any-
where do you want to put
I
him?
mean, it doesn't matter because these orgs, like we don't know who's actually getting where. Like the org names don't matter. Like we're just putting together teams and like potentially off rumors. Like
But here's the problem we get to is like, bro, sometimes I like that team, but then like what happens is like these fucking orgs like look at a veteran fucking player and they're like, okay, but you got to make it work with this person, and like it kind of chalks so much that I think your potential team we can put like maybe under London. 'Cause I
Wait,
feel like there's nothing in the London spot.
London?
That's,
wait, real
I
quick
think it's
though.
gonna be European, bro.
Why would you put Fame though on the squad?
Because Fame
'Cause he's
is
played with
because
Adam already.
Fame has played with Godarex, and he's also a
but-
decent sub that's left
Did
over
it-
here.
Didn't all right? So Godarex and Gwyn won, right? But the event before that, Abuza and Linz won, right?
bro, Abuza and Linz are on thieves. We're not gonna fucking move them. Stop. Keep bringing it up.
No, but I'm saying
Keep
why
trying
wouldn't
to make
why
this fucking
wouldn't
team happen.
why
It's not gonna
wouldn't you
happen.
take the top 2 players on Godorex and Gwyn's team and the
Dude, we're
top
not
2
gonna
players
do
on
that,
Abuza and
bro.
Lin's
I'm
team?
happy that
Because
we
we're
did this
going
together,
off
guys.
because we're going off these like random rumors, bro. Like it's just, we're
I'm
just
happy
mixing
that
shit
we're
up.
all
I
We're
doing
just,
this
not.
call
You just
together.
made
We're
some
in
shit up. We're
nowhere
not going
land,
off no
bro.
rumor.
well, because
Where
towards
the
the
hell,
tail
bud?
end, because towards the bottom of the teams while we're creating them, we have no intel on any of these teams.
Bro,
we're
if I'm-
building teams
if
for
I'm-
fun.
If I'm
Hello?
Abuza and Lin's though, and my options are Cammy and Afro or Godorex and Gwyn, I'm taking Godorex and
Yeah,
Gwyn.
if my probably listen, you might be.
Wait,
But
that's
listen,
not a troll. I'm
if I'm
100% taking
Abuza
that.
and Linz, I'm getting on my knees and getting on FaZe somehow. So like, let's just make up hypotheticals at this point, okay?
What
Well,
about
I'm
Big
talking
P
about
with
what's
the LAG
possible.
roster, Chris? What about Big P?
I wouldn't mind a Big P.
I think that looks pretty. I like Big P in there.
Dude, that's what I'm saying, bro. I'm telling you, that is not like on paper in terms of like ceiling. That is not a bad team in terms of like being realistic. Yeah, they might not be the best, but in
What
terms
did I
of like
say?
who you can get available,
Who
it's
is
not
that?
bad.
Fame, Gunless, Godorex, and who?
Wow.
Fame or Gwyn.
It's actually not that bad.
That is not
Not
a bad
bad,
team, bro.
right?
I'm telling you, I'm
It's
good
not-
at building these teams,
Aggie,
bro.
Aggie might be
bad.
cooking right
It's
now.
not
Yeah.
bad.
I
But
like Big P.
Abuza,
I like Big
but
P.
Aggie might be
Abuza
cooking
and
right now.
Linz are straight up better than Big P and,
Yeah,
and
okay,
Fame.
but that's not the point. That's not the point. That's not the point, bro.
We're operating under rumors for the other
Bro,
teams.
listen, Godorex, Gwyn, Abuza,
Right.
Linz, Ghosty.
We have to
hit me
take
up.
rumors into account. We have to.
Yes, exactly. That's why. Bro, I built two
Yeah, I
decent
like that.
teams.
Chris,
Solid
I
team.
like LAG. Listen, the
Double
Big
team.
P was my shout though.
That is, but that's why I said,
That was
because I said
Chad's shout.
I'll put
Nah.
three together.
That was
I'll
a
put
Chad
three
W.
together,
Stop
and you
it
pick
right
a
now.
fourth, because I
Wait,
honestly
did it-
wouldn't
That was
know.
a Chad
Did it-
W.
did
Tom.
it-
You're not
Absolutely
stealing
not.
Chad's W.
Absolutely not.
You're not stealing
Wait,
Chad's
Nah,
W.
I
didn't
seen
Pentagram
800
and
names in
Fame?
that chat.
I bet you fucking did.
Pentagram
Yeah.
and Fame.
Or no, Pentagram and Godorex. Didn't they play together?
Yes, Pentagram and
Yeah,
Godorex.
so put Pentagram on that team instead of Fame.
That's crazy, bro.
That could also be a thing, but that's what I'm saying. It's just more the known quantity thing, bro. Like that at the end of the day, like we're just like making up a team.
No
Like
quantity. Tom, zoom in on his player card. That's a point. That's a
Who?
7-9.
Fame.
Yeah.
why is Fame
Known
catching
quantity.
strays? He's not a
Bro,
bad
stop
boy.
it.
Oh, he's a good
Fucking
player.
player.
He's a good
Why?
player.
Why?
Nah, these player cards are cheese, bro. These player cards are fucking cheese.
Fucking player card.
Why? Why? We
They've
know
always
that 6
been
through
cheese,
12
Pat.
teams
They've
are looking
always
at player
been cheese.
cards. I know that, but we know for a fact that these 6 through 12 teams are looking at player
Doesn't
cards
mean we should,
and
bro.
Reddit. Why
Doesn't
we're
mean we should.
why we're
Nah, not all of them. There's
hypothetically
no way
trying
they're
to
all.
match what
There's
these
no way
guys
they're
are
all.
doing.
There's no
All
way
right,
they're looking at player cards like that. There's no way,
basically
right?
what you're saying,
There's no
basically
way.
They
what-
do, bro.
Nah,
They
the
do.
way,
There's definitely
dude,
people
the
that
way
do.
Pat's
I
making
know
this out,
Minnesota for sure looked at Reddit in
the way
2019.
the way that
That's
Pat's
Wait, do y'all
making
remember
this
when,
out,
do y'all remember
confirm
when
it. I
Goon
can
didn't get on
confirm
our
it.
list because
Insane.
he got dropped from Reddit? Do you guys remember that?
Yeah,
Reddit flamed him getting
yes.
picked up, and then they
Bro,
didn't
the
deal
way
with
the
it.
way
That's
Pat's
crazy.
making this
Well-
out is if you're not an 80, bro, like on the player cards, that you're just getting subbed in for an unknown challenger.
Yo,
Like
if I'm
quantity.
one of these players, bro, I'm siding Lion Man some bucks to raise
Bro,
my score.
Pat, the thing is, it's not just
No
below.
way.
Not to go too off topic, but like Bort and I were talking about this on
Yeah,
Twitter
that's
earlier.
crazy.
Like there are players.
Lion Man could
There are
finesse.
players in the CDL and even prior to CDL when Lyman started doing cards in the CWL era. They were building teams off of player cards, and I think that is fucking crazy.
I know. That's what I'm
That
That
saying.
is fucking crazy to me.
Yo,
Yo,
see,
actually,
yo, is he
yo,
starting a
wait,
business
wait,
play or
wait, hold
what?
on. Lion Man, hit me up, bro. We'll get incorporated
Pat's
tomorrow.
always trying to do some business or some shit.
Wait, bro, you're telling me like, bro,
I mean,
if these guys
yeah,
are getting
bro.
these contracts.
Listen,
and we know
I'd
their
slip
player
him
cards
100, Pat. I'd
influence.
slip him 100.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You tweak the algorithm a
Yo,
little bit, give him a few
yeah.
more points.
I slip him a couple hundred, maybe. Get a few numbers up there for sure. Give
It's
me.
like
What do I gotta do to get a
Tom,
90?
Tom,
How much I gotta pay for a 90, bro?
Yeah, it's like asking a teacher for extra credit.
Yeah,
Yo.
no.
All right, let's keep
Follow
pushing. Let's finish this.
follow
Let's
five
finish
for
out
an
the
extra
community.
wrap
time.
these up. Let's
With
wrap
the
these up.
Spaniards.
All right, the Spaniards.
Yeah, the Spaniards. You're gonna have to tell me what they look like because I have no idea. I know. So
what's
Eric
the team
Boom,
supposed to be?
Vickle,
Is it-
Medals or no Medals? There was
Medals
one that
is
got
off.
he's
Cole-
off
Medals is
now,
off.
right?
One is over to the right in between the two ultra players.
On the right, to the left of Mohawk, 2 spaces.
Okay, boom. And then who was the other one rumored?
Is-
Who was the
is-
other one?
is it
Real.
Re-
It was Real.
Real, he's next to Shawnee on the bottom left, next to Pristini, in between Shawnee and Pristini.
All right, so that's Real right there. Boom. I mean, I actually don't mind that. I like Real. I think Real's a really good shout. 100%.
guy's
Throw
God,
the,
it
throw
is.
the, throw
Real's
the two
really
other
good.
Span-
Real's really
throw
good.
The, throw the 2 other Spaniard players in there as substitutes. They're Lucky and fucking Medals in
Medals. Yeah.
there. Right next to Mohawk on the left, both of them. Just awesome in there. Because we just don't know. They're just the Spanish, bro. That's the Spanish. Who knows what the fuck?
I'll
I
sauce
mean,
them in there.
they might do the ultra thing.
I
of
thought
like,
I thought
you know,
that got like that rumor got
so the
they
org
went back
thing
on
was-
it.
It was the
Yeah,
hand thing.
yeah, there
the
was
trademark had
something
chalk.
that said that it got chalked. Yep. But
Oh, so
they
they're
might
still
still
gonna be
go.
the Mutineers?
Yeah, they might still
Yeah.
go with the Spanish team. They might still go with it.
They should go
Right.
with the if they're doing the Overwatch shit. I thought the Overwatch name
All right,
was
there's
kind of
two
hard. The
final
Florida Mayhem.
rosters. There
The
are
Florida
two
Mayhem's good
final
Yeah, I like that.
rosters
I
that
like
we
that a
have to
lot.
make.
Vegas and
It's
London, boys.
Vegas and
Strap
London.
in.
I have no
Okay.
fucking idea what the hell's going on over there, bro.
Neither do we. Let's let chat do it.
You know what I mean? Chat, who should we put there? Who do you guys want us to put there? Because I have no idea.
London, we go with the NAS. Listen, hear me out.
Yo,
I'm building
I'm
building a
Doug,
European
Doug,
team.
Doug.
Nasty.
No, stop, bro. Like, all right,
Come on,
let's
bro.
not
Put Nasty
troll,
on
take
London, bro.
London away. Go back
Put Nasty
to
on
London.
London.
We're throwing Nasty on there. We're throwing Harry on there. That's your two ARs. Who else is available, bro? Let me look at this. We throw Banson there. We throw Banson there for the leadership with the
Man,
two
need kills.
ARs.
We need
there's a
kills
lot of
now.
players on this
We
roster.
have kills. We have kills. We have the Harry. We have the Harry
We need
and
sub
the.
kills.
No,
now.
I
Yes,
like
we-
Benjamin.
yes, we
Bo-
need
yeah, I
sub
like
kills.
Benny. Hold on, let me.
So
I-
y'all are telling me that like Clayster
Where's Benny
and
at? Where's he at?
Attach aren't making the league?
No, that's not it. There's another team. We're not done.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah,
Benny's up
The alma
here.
mater over there, done or over on Vegas.
And also, don't say that's just
Just a pure
that's
Met squad.
that's not true, bro. Well, there's a lot of like questionable rumored teams, right? That are there that are taking up space, and then we're just making teams. Like after that,
Yeah, we're just making teams for sure.
This
who
year's
knows,
gonna
for all we
be
know.
crazy.
Hey,
And
listen,
also-
we don't got many teams
There's about
left.
to be 86 mid-season changes.
I cannot wait to see the full rosters.
Is Cap still in here? Did we put Cap on a team? We better.
No,
put Cap
we
on a team.
didn't.
Nah, we're in hell.
Cap's gonna be on the Vegas one,
Nah, we're actually in hell. He might be on Vegas. That's actually not. a bad shot.
or on the Vancouver Surge, which we have yet to put a forth.
Mohawk's got to be livid, bro.
Let's put
but
Mohawk on a
that's the-
team,
but that's
bro.
the- that's
Put him
the
on
main-
Vegas.
That's the
over
main,
here.
bro. That's the main AR fucking Fugazi. It's like you gotta wait a million years to get a fucking spot because all
That's-
these Zerns lock shit down. Now
that's
Flex
what
and
I'm
Sub
saying.
play
Don't worry,
two
I'm gone,
main AR
Ben.
spots. Like,
Three
it's
ARs
so-
on Vegas, bro.
My
Bees,
tenure,
bro,
my
get
watch
done.
has ended, Ben.
Actually-
There's an open spot.
Yeah, dude, it's like it's fucking impossible, man. For a main
Hey,
AR.
who's London?
Like-
London is attached, Clay, Nasty, and Bance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're trolling, bro. Like, get the fuck out of here.
I think we're trolling.
Can we stop
Wait,
trolling with London and
wait.
actually try?
What was Adam
Bro, I'm
Assault's
not. I'm
player
just
card
putting
number?
people there until we're definite. I'm
No,
just
stop
fucking
putting
around.
people there because you're fuck. It's like
Wait, did Adam
It's
Assault
making
have a
it possible.
73?
Yeah,
All right,
73.
bro. I'll take him away.
Damn, Adam.
Hell. Damn, bro. My bad.
I didn't mean to snap on you, but it's
It's all
Listen,
good,
my
bro.
London
It's all
team,
good.
if they're
Fucking
going
It's on me.
LCDs,
No, it's
my
on
London
it's on me,
team,
bro. It's on me.
my London team, if they're going with Euros, is Nasty, either Harry or Gizmo, and then Ben, and then I have no idea who their other sub would be. Wardy, fucking
no.
some other European sub, any Euro subs that need to have kills.
I might put Charlie instead of Ben.
like that could also. Oh yeah, I forgot about Hixie. Yeah, Hixie, you could put Hixie in there
I
instead
think I
of
put
Ben.
Charlie instead
People
of
weren't
Ben.
even putting
and
Hixie on a
then, like,
team.
Yeah,
I just
well,
won an
what-
event and got second at
Clay-
champs.
Yeah, well, dude, listen, bro.
Bro,
There's a lot of
football
names to
players
go
is
over,
tough,
bro.
man.
Bro, the
Subs are in hell.
CDO is crazy, bro.
It's insane. This is fucking crazy, bro. There's so many names here.
Wait, I
And
forgot
all
about-
these
oh,
guys were
dude.
in the league. All these guys were in the league. Most
That's
of
what
them.
I'm
Bro,
saying.
It's
Like,
insane.
forgot
It's
about-
fucking
Bro, I
insane.
forgot-
That's
people-
why I was just putting people there, bro. Because I didn't. Bro, who the fuck knows? We were able to do the other
what
teams.
About, wait, I forgot about. No, hold on. Nasty, Beans, Hixie, and Bance. There you go. That's the
That's
squad.
the
I
vibe
cannot-
squad.
cannot have
They
it.
love each other.
Yeah, Beans. You gotta throw Beans in there. You gotta throw
That's
Beans in
the
there on
vibe
London.
squad
Throw
right
Beans
there.
on London. I forgot about Beans.
Those guys
All
tweet
right.
each other
That's
daily.
the slowest team we've ever made in the CDL.
Bro, go-
There's no going on that
But
team,
at least
bro.
they'll be on the same page.
Jesus.
They'll be on the same fucking
Because
page.
they're gonna be too.
Hold on,
real
real quick. My question, my big question here is looking at the players that aren't making it. Do you guys think
Oh
they
my
play
God.
challengers? Like, do you think like part of these people in this list, if they don't make the league, they retire?
Yeah, they're gonna probably.
I
mean,
feel
would at
like
least-
we're gonna see a mass wave, dude, of people who don't make the league just call it quits.
I don't think so. It's not. gonna
Why?
be-
Because people
They're
can
gonna-
still
they're
play. They're
gonna-
gonna have to just change the schedule, like we said, and they're still gonna play,
They're-
but just
they're
do
gonna
other stuff
try-
outside the game. You know what I mean?
Bro,
They're gonna
we've
be
been
doing
saying
other
that for years though, and they have not. I don't know how they've been getting
Bro,
finessed
I
to
am going.
not.
No, there's
I'm
no
gonna
way,
roast
there's no
these
way.
Challengers again, bro. I'm gonna roast these challenger players again, bro. If I see them scrimming at a weird schedule, I'm getting in their scrim chat and I'm flaming people, and I'm literally just calling them all jobless, bro, because this is unacceptable.
Not jobless. Jesus
You're
Christ.
roasting them for being unemployed. That's
No,
insane.
I'm
That's
but that's
insane.
because
What the
they
fuck?
choose to be, bro. They choose to be. It's
Oh my God.
weird.
No, bro. Come on, bro.
I don't understand it, man.
You know.
Holy
come
shit.
on, bro.
I can't understand it any longer.
We've regressed so far from the light in this flank.
Let's fucking. Are we
We've
done?
strayed so far from the
Bro.
light.
We're so faded now, bro. It's chalked.
Forget it. All right,
I
I'm
really
gonna
don't
complete the
understand
teams.
why
I'm
you
gonna
guys
complete the
didn't go
teams.
with my Gwyn guy squad.
Put Doug on a team.
Because we have to operate under rumors, Pat, and we can't do that with.
Wait,
Oh my God,
Sam,
the Reddit
Sam,
thread for this
Sam.
is gonna be comedy.
Oh, it's gonna be
bro.
so good.
Sam, if me and you are co-jamming a
Christ.
It's gonna be
squad,
so
What is
good.
this fucking?
Sam,
biggest
Sam,
What's up?
Sam.
Yeah, I'm
me and
here,
you,
I
are,
hear
me and
you.
you.
What
Ben,
the
shut
fuck?
up. Regain.
No, I
me and
can't regain what I've
Sam.
seen.
Me and Sam co-jamming a squad. Sam,
Yes.
you're not signing the
If
Gwyn
I'm
guys
signing,
with
if
me.
I'm signing, if I'm on the pure minimum, blow it up squad.
Gwyn guys.
I'm on the Gwyn guys wave.
Dude, thank you. I don't understand why people wouldn't do that. That's a good squad.
I'm
It's
on
the
the Gwyn guy wave.
best two players on the best two challenger teams. That's a squad.
The only issue with that is literally the next year, 2 of my players are getting poached because they're going to be at least Ds.
Yeah,
and then you're
yeah.
fucked.
but we're
That's what
signing
always
the three.
happens.
We're
That's what
signing in the
always happens.
3-year minimums, and we're matching.
And then we're putting $1 million
years.
buyouts on that
Yes,
bitch.
of course.
I don't
That's
know.
what we're doing, baby.
Like, he's trying to
Sam,
finesse.
we
He's
might-
trying to
no,
finesse
we might
more
have the
money,
first
bro.
profitable- We might have the
That's
first
just trying to
profitable
finesse.
CDL team.
Yo, the way the CDLs go, Pat, we might go halves on a
Nobody's
franchise.
getting
That's
a
what I'm
3-year.
saying, bro.
Pat, you
Wait.
think anybody's getting a 3-year anymore? Nobody's getting a 3-year.
If
Who's
I'm-
getting that?
Wait, Tom. If I'm these orgs, I'm 100% offering a 3-year
Bro,
minimum.
you're crazy.
100%.
You're fucking crazy, bro.
Why not?
They're
A
trying
3-year. A 3-year minimum. There's no downside. The max loss is the exact same because you have to pay a guy a minimum anyway the next year.
Players are gonna.
Cap, I'm sorry for the team that you ended up on, bro. I don't want to.
Play-
Yeah, I
Players
guess
gotta
that's
be
true,
wise.
Pat. If you want to keep him locked
That's
up.
what I'm saying. You
Yeah,
might
I guess
as
it's
well.
true. Might as
If I'm
well.
a player,
And
I'm not
honestly-
signing a deal.
That's good
Wait,
business.
why
Sure.
not? If you're a player who
Bro.
you know you're stuck in the 6 through 12, you might as well.
It's not a guarantee, bro. Okay, if we've learned anything from these fucking deals, it's not a guaranteed deal. So you have no actual fucking security inside that 3-year deal. They can drop you at any time, and likely
They can
you're
do that
signing-
regardless whether it's 2 years or 17 years. It wouldn't
Exactly, so
matter.
why would I sign a 3-year deal? I want the flexibility if I fucking pop off.
I don't
be
want
able
the
to negotiate
flexibility
up-
right now. What I want right now is a
It's not-
damn
you're not even-
guaranteed job.
Bro.
Look at
fucking
this
Not guaranteed
list.
regardless.
We got
Bro,
attached,
think about it.
Clayster, fucking Adam Assault. I don't know who that is.
I mean, to be fair, Pat,
These
no
are
one's
big-
job
these are
is
big time
guaranteed.
names, bro. These are big
These guys
names.
are out of
Why-
jobs.
Well, I have
Why would I
officially
sign a-
checked out of the flank, boys. I'm here,
Bro,
but I'm not
Pat,
here.
Why would you sign a
I hear you,
3-year
Chris. Good
deal?
call.
A 3-year deal on a minimum salary and not just sign a 1-year deal on a
Because-
minimum
because
salary?
We're
next
actually
year-
so
Same
far
thing.
from the light.
Because
And then with
if
the
you
other
don't,
one,
if you
you
don't
get
have an
more
option,
flexibility.
Ben, it's this. You either don't get a contract or you get a 3-year minimum. You're taking the 3-year minimum. Did you guys not see the Trey Zero clip on the Toronto podcast? He literally said London offered me an 80, 90, $100,000 3-year contract, and I said no because I'm him. Trey just retired. Why would you not accept that?
You're
Because they
assuming
could
that
still
they're
drop you
offering everybody
regardless,
3-year
though.
deals. I don't think they're going to do that.
Who cares if they literally go, hey, we'll give you a contract, okay, but it's a 3-year minimum. You either accept this or we're not giving you a spot. If you're a player, you got no other option. You
I'm gonna
say
need 3 hail
yes.
Zoomas
Why
in
are
the
you
chat.
assuming
Because
they're
Jesus.
why are you assuming they're just going to throw out 3-year minimum deals? What intel do you have?
I'm
I don't.
saying if I'm an org, I'm doing
That's
that.
the same way he would do,
we
Ben.
need
You're not-
Because you
Okay.
have no
So, like,
downside doing that.
Listen,
right
all
now,
right, let's-
these
okay.
orgs have no downside to do
Are we
that.
done?
Like, either,
just a slay.
either
It's
accept
just a
it or
slay.
not.
Okay.
Accept it or not.
So this
I'll
is
get
what
somebody else.
This is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do. Ben, give us the Vegas team and we're out, bro. Give us the Vegas team, Ben.
No, we need a putt out of Ben, too.
So I like the Donnie
And a
Cap.
pot.
I like the Donnie Cap combination. Scroll down. I want to see what else players we have left.
Donnie Cap, Dylan or Clay,
Yeah, that's what
and
I'm
then
thinking.
and then one.
But Donnie, Cap, and Dylan.
Donnie, Cap, and Dylan. Boom.
And then
What do you
we
want?
Donnie
need
and
a
Dylan
sub.
played together. They did win a chip, but I will
There
say,
you go. New York vibes.
I was there. I
You were
was
the glue
there,
for that,
and I
though.
was I was definitely the glue. I was
Wait, is
100% the
Mac-
glue.
Is Mac still available? Is Mac still available?
Yes, Max on the board.
Let's toss Mac on there. Fuck it.
Mac. All right, let's throw Mac up there. I
We're
like
running
Mac.
back
I
the
like
New York
Mac.
squad from a couple of years
I
ago.
need to go
like
to
that.
church.
I like that, bro. I like Mac
I need
there.
to go.
Yup.
I need to go to church.
Dude, these teams are wild. Dude, we're about to get flamed.
Oh.
Dude, anyone that didn't watch this episode and they post this, like, on
Chat,
Reddit
I
or
know.
Twitter,
Bro,
No
these are
one's-
good
no one's
teams.
flaming-
These are
no
good
one- No one
teams.
is
Chat, I know
flaming the
you're
two
listening.
rosters I essentially damn near put together, by the
No,
way.
you did a good.
I put in
so
two
bad.
great
Bro,
trios.
these are not
and
bad
then-
teams.
and
These
we
are
added
not
on
that
boards.
bad. These are not bad, bro. We made the best of it. We made the best of it, man.
I need to go to church.
Come on. It's not. Is it that bad? Be honest, guys. 1 through 10 in the chat. Is it that bad?
Is
it actually
last
that
hour
bad?
Of this is just a pure fucking
Wait,
catastrophe.
I'm still mind
I'm on
blown.
Gwen, guys.
Yeah.
You
No
guys
Clay
don't
is crazy
I'm on
though.
that.
No Clay is fucking
Listen,
crazy,
if you
bro.
guys have any business inquiries with me and Pat, let us know.
That's what I'm saying. We might start an
Clay's
agency.
taking
We could
somebody's
sign the good
spot. I
guys.
don't know who.
No, Clay's in the league, but we don't know. We can put
Wait,
him in there, bro.
Clay
Clay's in.
should be
Clay's
on
in
a
somewhere.
team, but like I said, off questionable rumor duos and us just putting together teams.
Drop Godorex for Clay.
What? Hell no.
That's where I think that might go. If there's anyone spot on here, I think that like LAG and going for
Drop
Clay, I can see
Alec
it.
for Clay. Why would you drop the best challenger player who just had a 1.8 in a grand final for challenger champs?
He literally did.
You're saying drop a guy who just had a 1.8 at
You're
challenger
ass- you're
champs
assuming that
instead of
LAG 's gonna-
Alec who had a 0.6 all year. In the
you're
Alec was
assuming-
worse than Jimbo when he wasn't hacking.
Oh,
Dude,
What?
what the fuck?
Bro, why are you throwing
Oh my
sprays like that, bro?
God.
It was not that bad, bro.
Bro, we are going.
logical
This
decision.
Dragging
flank is
it, bro.
going- this
You're
flank is
fucking
going to
dragging
hell.
it.
This Reddit thread is going to be one for the ages.
This flank
Yeah,
is going
this
to
might-
hell, bro.
Yeah, this might hit
This
the
Reddit thread is
fan,
gonna
bro.
hit the fuck. This might hit main page of Reddit, bro.
Damn, bro. Nah, you're disrespecting Alec, bro, for sure.
You're disrespecting
him.
Godorex? The guy just had a 1.8 at challenger champs.
That is true. That
He's
is
just
true.
No,
disgusting,
no.
for
I
sure.
know.
I agree with you.
I know.
The
right?
guy walked into the Vegas venue in 200-degree heat and shit on everybody.
Oh yeah, I'm not disagreeing that Godorex is a good player. I'm not disagreeing. You know what I mean. You
But
just went a
LAG
little
don't be
crazy.
making fucking logical decisions, and I could see them
You
being
know.
like Herd or Clay's available.
Nah,
Fucking do
wait.
it.
LAG made a massive management overhaul. They could probably make some logical decisions now.
I mean, what? Who's building their teams? Rick?
Wait, why are you laughing at that, Chris? That was facts.
Just I'm reading Chad. Chad's just making me laugh.
So, I mean,
Okay.
it's then what? Rick's the only person left there, right? So it'd be Rick making the team.
Nah, they got a new
They have
GM.
a new
Final
GM. They have a new
teams.
GM. I met him in Vegas. I forgot his name.
Yeah,
Have
holy
five
shit.
on
Someone
Vegas.
take a screenshot and
I was
flame
playing
us on
blackjack
Reddit.
with him. I was playing blackjack.
One of them
I
will be
forgot
the
his name.
sub.
Someone
He
take a
was
screenshot
valid.
and flame us on Reddit.
Wait, shit. They actually might pick up Clay because he's a Valorant GM too.
But you can think they can pick up these guys
you
on the
need to
minimums
put
for
now.
sub spots, bro. They can pick up a lot of these players for like a lot of these teams, like a lot of these
Nah,
players
there's
might
gonna
get
be
picked up at
in
sub
all
spots.
seriousness, there's going to
100%.
be a fuck ton of midseason changes. Guaranteed.
Yeah, I agree. This
There's
dude,
going to be a fuck. There's too much
Like,
talent.
This is our
Major
team.
one or
What
Major
teams?
two
What do you guys
roster
think,
maybe.
bro?
crazy.
I think
Wow, my
aside
teams are
from the
great.
Gwyn guys
Gwyn
not
guys.
being a team, this is pretty good.
I think these are fire teams. I think these are fantastic. That's what I think.
But I will say, if that is the rumor for Vancouver and LAT, I think they're making massive mistakes.
Bro, isn't it crazy? Wait, hold on.
Certified Cam and Afro.
I
They
just,
don't
Solid,
know
thought
guys,
some,
it's
that.
I
solid.
just thought some shit. The quote
not
unquote
bad.
rumored teams or like rumored players on certain teams are probably the worst out of
Probably
the
the worst
rosters.
ones. Yeah. No, I agree for sure. 'cause
that
the
is
Gwyn- yeah, LAT's
insane.
fucking up our Gwyn guy
Vancouver
angle.
shit is criminal to have.
That's what I'm saying, though.
Vancouver shit
Why-
is criminal.
Why would any of these guys go with the known quantities of mid?
This guy said he's fucking
I
up our
know,
Gwyn
but-
angle.
but Shit's fucking.
LAT's JCap's
Alright,
fucking up our
alright.
Gwyn
Yo,
angle.
Ben, hit a
Hopefully
putt,
we're
bro.
wrong.
Hit a
Hopefully we're
putt.
wrong.
Hit a
Alright, I
putt,
got
Ben.
you.
Hit a putt.
Ben,
Get us on again.
please, Ben,
Wait, hold on,
please
hold
hit
on.
this putt.
I have
Jimmy Demons
684
wants
challenger
on.
points.
Jimmy Demons wants on
Ben,
somewhere.
if you miss this putt, I might not make it to the next show. I need you to make this.
We got to throw Jimmy Demons in there.
Wait. I feel like we should next time, if we're doing the rosters, we got to do them in person, bro.
Win, guys.
The Gwyn guys is crazy.
The Gwyn
I'm on the
guys,
wave.
bro.
Consider
Listen,
me
Ben, this
convinced.
putt, let's get it.
Ben,
Please,
sink the
Ben.
putt. Wait, we can't
Please,
see
Ben.
nothing.
You can see the hole. Yeah,
All right, we can see the hole. That's good enough.
all you need to do is see the hole. It's
What do
fine.
you guys got? Get the poll
What?
going.
I
mean,
see the whole
speaking
clearly
fact.
on my fucking cam.
I can see your hole clearly, Ben.
Ben
Hit the
is
putt.
never lost sight of the hole.
Yo,
He said it. What do you want me to say? He said it.
Yo,
He
did
said
say
he
it.
could see
No,
his
he did
hole
say
clearly.
it. Oh my Jesus
I can
Christ.
see clearly now.
Oh, and he misses the putt.
Holy
Jesus
shit, he
Christ.
missed. He couldn't see
Oh
the hole.
my!
Dude, are we
Oh my
fucking
God, that wasn't even
serious?
close.
We lost.
It's
Yo!
over, bro. It's GG.
No, sit down.
my-
It's done.
never
He's
been
going for a
worse.
round. He
Tom already
misses the
muted out.
second one. He misses
It's a
the
2-hour-long flank, bro.
It's a full
Holy
collapse.
shit. What is going on, bro?
Tom's really
Yo,
muted, raging.
You know what's funny too? Kason never showed up.
Oh
We
my
had
god,
2
yeah,
hours and
Kason,
he's still in here.
Kason actually never showed up, bro.
He
He's
said
been,
I'd be there in an hour.
bro.
He saw the teams and it was
he's at the AMP house right now. He's at the AMP house with he's doing something with those guys. He's
What's
fucking-
the AMP
he saw
house?
the teams.
It's like Kai Sanaf, Phantom, Duke
Oh, okay.
Dennis, like those guys.
Yeah,
You
that makes
know,
sense.
that's crazy though. We're gonna have to bust his balls on that one because Kason. We're gonna have to get Kason back in there.
100%.
There was a leak that Kason's a co-owner of Atlanta FaZe, so we're gonna have to talk to him about that one for
We're
sure.
definitely gonna talk to her about that
And
for
if
sure.
you guys didn't see the Atlanta FaZe announcement, Kason was the guy in the video with Crowder in the beginning there. That's Kason. For those of you who don't know who he is. But yeah, man, that's gonna do it for us. Ben, what happened?
Honestly, it's the culmination of all this, Ben. I don't blame you at all.
I lipped it bad, bro. It was a bad fucking.
Ben, we
putt.
don't blame you, bro. It's just this kind of night, you know.
Listen, we
Yeah,
get
is
it
what
next
is.
time. We get it next time.
All right, man. Well,
Holy
listen,
shit.
that's going to do it for us, man. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube at anchor.fm/theflank. Check out audio sites that we're on and go follow at the flank on Twitter. Gert's doing a phenomenal job running socials per usual. And make sure to, stay checked out for that next merch drop. My next merch drop, I'm doing it with Dylan Attached, man. So stay tuned for that one. It'll be pretty dope, man. I've already seen some shit, so you guys will see it soon. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we'll see you guys next time on another episode of The Flank, man.
Thanks for watching, chat.
Brush your hair, and we're out, man. Here we go.
Peace, peace, peace.
Every time, Sam.
Holy
every
shit,
time.
bro.